Today, I'm featuring some mods, specifically the mods in the dynamic collection of mods by Harry. That includes dynamic battlefield, dynamic units, dynamic world, the Middle Kingdom, Mapscript, and morale. I also threw in simple family names because I find it easier to work within the game when the family names aren't like, oh, you got to remember that the Julii are actually the champions or whatever. So let's go over very briefly what these mods do. Dynamic World is a sort of vanilla plus overhaul of all of the non-military functions of the game. So your resource gathering, your buildings and their adjacent bonuses, but also your family bonuses and your national bonuses. And a bunch of extra events. Like it just goes on and on. This list here kind of gives you a general overview, but within each of these things, it's huge. Dynamic Units is the military portion of this mod. Excuse me for slurring a little bit here today. I've got some orthodontic work done, and I'm still trying to get used to having all this stuff in my teeth. So, Dynamic Units adds a couple of new specialized units in a very restrained way. You gotta say, a lot of these 4X games mods have just like massive numbers of extra stuff, like anything they can think of just thrown in there without any thought or consideration to how it fits within the balance of the actual game. That's not this one. This one adds units that have very specific purposes that fit in their own niche. They don't overlap with any of the vanilla units, etc. It also adds some technology diffusion, which is something I've always liked in a 4X type game because it helps avoid the rich get richer problem. It helps as a perpetual comeback mechanic. And we've also got tribal alliance enhancements. Allied tribes will continue raiding enemy factions while maintaining peace with rogue groups like raiders and barbarians, so they don't fight each other. They'll fight your enemies. That's good. All of these, by the way, come with AI enhancements so that the AI knows how to use all the various things that we're talking about. All the changes to this mod have been fixed. They also add new events, technologies, laws, custom units, blah, 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 dynamic XP gain. That one surprised me when I attacked something and didn't do a ton of damage, and it was like 1 XP. And I was like, what? So yeah, it really, you need to do some damage in order to actually get experience. You can't just wail away at a defended barbarian and just keep raking in tons of XP. There's also a cool thing where you can build stationary towers that act as military units of their own on your borders of your territory, which is nice. Mountaineers can let you traverse mountain tiles. The other thing, okay, so I didn't know which mod this was in, but it's now obfuscated the exact number of victory points that you need. Instead of saying the game ends when someone gets to 52 victory points, it will say somewhere between 47 and 54 or something like that. So you know that somebody's in danger of winning, but you can't prepare and say, I have to just hold off the enemy for this one turn until I finish this wonder, and then the game is over. You can't just throw all your units away knowing that the game will end immediately afterwards. That kind of gamey tactic isn't going to fly here. Promotions are improved, all kinds of other things. And so those are the two main mods of this collection, Dynamic World and Dynamic Units. Dynamic Battlefield adds a couple of interesting things, including certain units that automatically back up after they've been attacked, making them a little harder to pursue. Of course, those units are also a little harder to actually fight with because every turn you'll have to spend more orders moving them forward again in order to attack. AoE damage friendly fire, that makes, I mean, when I first found out that you can just build onagers or what have you and have them just fire into the enemy with your units right next to them, that just felt ridiculously overpowered. Just have a couple of onagers in every single major war and blast away at the enemy with no care in the world for affecting your own units. So that's been changed. Certain units can apparently move after attacking. Some mounted units can now gain bonuses if they charge and scatter the target. Again, AI has been used to upgrade all of these things. So the Dynamic Battlefield is just kind of an extension of Dynamic Units, more or less. This is just an interface mod that makes the UI a tiny bit tighter and nicer to look at. Morale is the next big expansion of this, and it's like another military expansion, and it's now kind of creates a more, again, dynamic battlefield by having units with a morale level that adjusts over time. It has a resting point. So if it's below that level and they're in friendly territory, or in the case of barbarians, just kind of anywhere, they will recover to their base resting point called their discipline. And then if it's above that number, it'll eventually go back down. And higher morale gives you bonuses up until it makes your units so impetuous that they actually throw away their lives, charging into the enemy attack like berserkers, and have a huge penalty to their defense, even if they get a good bonus to their attack. So very high morale can actually be a detriment depending. So that's the overview of the mod. Let's jump into it and see how it plays. I'm going to be playing as Rome because it's one that I'm very familiar with. I usually like to go random just to see what the game gives me, but because I'm playing this mod and I want to be able to explain all the things, I don't want to focus too hard about playing a faction that I'm not super familiar with. We're going to play on the Noble. It's one that I usually enjoy playing on, and I don't want to lose too early. I've tried the Glorious every once in a while, and it is a fun challenge for me. I tend not to do a lot of huge min-maxing and checking every little thing to make sure I can squeeze out every tiny bit of a advantage. So I don't usually get up to anywhere near the great difficulty. But the Noble is one that feels pretty good for me as far as difficulty is concerned. We'll be playing against 4 opponents on a standard-sized map. What are we going to be changing? We're going to play with the regular victories. I do like changing points to be a little higher. The base game seems to end reliably around 125 to 130 turns. Sometimes it goes beyond that. I prefer it to have more of an average around 150. It feels like a nicer curve for the game to last that long. Sometimes the games end right when I've finally gotten access to cool units and other buildings that I never get a chance to play around with. So I like it to last just a little bit longer. So we're playing on slightly higher victory points. I also wish that this had an option to increase the number of ambitions you need by 1 or something, so that it just, otherwise this kind of maybe makes the ambition victory a little too easy in comparison to the points victory. I'm not sure. The Middle Kingdom Mapscript is one that is also by the same designer, Harry, and it comes with a couple of different options. China was the original Middle Kingdom Mapscript. It's basically a coastal basin that's supposed to look roughly like China with a sea to the east. But the main thing about this Mapscript in general, not just the China one, but all of these, is that it adds all of these kind of pre-built things on the map, as if there were kingdoms before you. You'll stumble across some roads through a mountain pass, these long and winding rivers that actually block movement and have fordable areas every once in a while. Ancient temples kind of hidden, extra barbarians at the end of the known world. So I really like how this map script makes the world feel older, and how it makes rivers act as a real barrier. Like, there's a few major rivers flowing through the area. There's regular smaller rivers that the game has also in the area, but the major rivers are much wider. Double fatigue is my favorite version of things. Like normal, this is normally is unlimited. This is the other thing that I change routinely in every single game to double fatigue. It just makes it so that if you're playing against a computer that has like just an obscene number of orders, they can't make their entire army cross the whole dang map just using forced march. I like that forced march exists. I also like to have a limit. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we are good to go here. I'm looking for Rome with a random leader archetype, and we'll play from there. Nobody in the chat yet. Hopefully I've got this right. I've just put together a new computer, and I want to make sure that everything's working. So if you are watching, give me a shout in the chat. Let me know everything's working okay, or if there's an issue with the audio or what have you. Okay, so first thing we want to do when we open up the map is to take a quick stock of what kind of resources we have around us. For that, we're going to hit the button on my mouse, which I think is also, what, Z? No, M. M. And we can see we've got pigs, gold, silver, and silver. This is going to be a phenomenal patron capital in this mod. And forgive me, I haven't played the base game in so long that I might not remember all the differences between the base game and this mod. But the patrons get a bonus 25% additional culture production in their cities based on the number of precious resources, which includes silver, gold, gems, and pearls, which means this city is going to be a powerhouse of culture because it's going to have a plus 75% bonus from that one thing. In addition, we get a free luxury resource whenever we found any of their cities, which is just a nice thing to have, which can boost your culture and happiness in whatever cities you want to send it to, or maybe send it to a tribe. This family seat is also often very happy because every time you get a cultural event, which you're going to get a lot of because of the precious resource bonus, you get extra happiness levels, which means it's very a productive city. And since silver and gold give quite huge amounts of gold, for example, a silver mine gives you 60 gold per year, and apparently also minus 25% urban specialist goods cost. That's kind of cool. Meanwhile, gold gives you 80, and it can help you hurry specialists with money if you have that in the city. That's a new thing, too. I'm pretty sure that's also Dynamic World. So, those are the things that we've got close to us. We've also, if we put away the trees, got a pretty good spot here. Now, there's no lush terrain, but, oh yeah, there's actually got some, this is one thing I do dislike. It's very, very difficult to tell tiles that have lush when there's trees on top of them. So you can see in the bottom right, it's showing us that these tiles are lush and these tiles are temperate. Can you tell the difference? I can't. But if we hit Z, you can very, very subtly notice that these 4 tiles all are slightly darker than the others. Now, if there weren't trees there, it would be super obvious that those areas were lush. That's, unfortunately, they're in the wrong place. I would love for them to be up here along the water, but at the same time, I now have to decide where I'm going to put my farms. I probably want some farms here, but one of the things that the Romans have as a family is the landowners, and if I find another city that's got a nice rivers or a bunch of lush terrain, they are going to be a perfect spot to build just a massive food network, the breadbasket of the empire, so to speak. Okay, that having been said, I think I'm going to need to put farms around this pig right here because pigs can have a pasture built on them, and when you have a pasture built, you get plus 40% for all adjacent farms. That is going to mean that the farms I have surrounding it get automatic bonuses without even having to worry about having a granary either. The thing is, if I'm looking at this here, where do I want to put my urban buildings? Well, if I build baths, I'm going to need to build them along the river. So that means I'm going to have some urban buildings over here. And I'm probably going to want to build them down into this area as well. I don't think I'm going to want to build them over into the mountainous areas because, A, building improvements on the hills takes longer. And I think urban improvements, like making it urban, makes it longer still. Plus, I'm going to want to fill these with iron mines and quarries, which give bonuses to each other when you put them next to each other. So that is an area where I need to focus on that output because I don't have any good mountains or arid terrain here, and my capital is going to need to have some output for those two things. So that area over there, almost certainly iron and quarries, not a lot of them, not super efficient, but the capital's got to have something. Otherwise, if I don't find another one, it could be bad for me. So urban areas are probably going to be the tiles that are over here, and then maybe into the area down over here as well, depending on how many of them I need. And then I'll probably have a little farming community over here. That having been planned out, let's go ahead and figure out how we want to build this. So it looks like, yeah, there's no real reason to go all the way up there, is there? It does get me a couple tiles closer to those mountains where I'm thinking about having iron. But it gets me further away from this silver, which I want to get to pretty soon. And this is get me that much closer to it. So do I want to get more of the river, or do I want to get this water over here? Water doesn't have a ton of useful things. You can put nets on it, but without resources, it's not great. So I'm going to go right up here. And then I'm going to put my patron's capital. Now, the disadvantage of patrons, by the way, is your improvements cost more resources. So if it costs wood to build a resource, it costs 25% more. The other thing that happens here is I get a Lorian mine built. And the Lorian mine is special. It's different from a regular mine because it gives a 50% bonus to adjacent mines and a 20% bonus to adjacent quarries. Like normal mines, though, it does give a penalty for being adjacent to farms and hamlets. These bonuses that you're looking at, by the way, have been significantly adjusted from the base game for Dynamic World. And I do like that there are these penalties, like you can't put your mines right next to your farms, and you can't put quarries right next to each other. They penalize each other if you put them next to each other. So it really makes it more of an interesting puzzle on how you're going to plan your city. Now, we need to determine what we're going to do with our leader. Our leader is a schemer, which is generally my least favorite starting leader, except that they can adopt a child. So that can be kind of useful. And using a legitimacy to buy orders isn't terrible, but boy, I hate to spend my legitimacy like that. Getting an extra order per year per war early in the game is more useful than later. But overall, as a general, being hidden in friendly or neutral trees is kind of meh. So, yeah, I've never been a super fan of the schemer archetype as a leader. But scouts being invisible early on is pretty nice. It means you can declare war on all of the tribes, and your scouts can just run around exploring without ever worrying about it. Okay, that having been said, the question I wanted to come up with is, do I want to put my leader in charge of the soldier, the sword, the warrior unit, or do I want to put them in charge of governing the capital? Unfortunately, our leader doesn't have a lot of courage. So she needs to go find the cowardly lion and learn how to have it, learn how to have the courage all along. So if we put her as a general here, the unit loses a little bit of actual attack value. It does get a 50% bonus versus tribal. Why is that? Because she is steadfast. That's a good reason to make her the general, actually. I didn't realize she came with that military bonus. We're going to do that after we move the unit. Units should move first. Now, we do get to know where the closest city sites are. Wow, that one's way far away. Not closest. There's always two nearby that are reserved. This one up here looks like it's going to be a great landowner. So I'm going to put a little, because I can see there's a barley and there's lush terrain there. So I'm going to put a little note here to remind myself. Landowners. And then over here, we've got horses, we've got elephants. That's probably going to be my champions, because that's going to be able to produce good military units out of those. So we're going to go ahead and put a different one again. I really like this sort of tag system, because now I can hover over this and see in the bottom corner, oh, I decided I wanted this to be a champions. That helps me plan, because you don't want too many cities assigned to a single family. And if you do it wrong, then the other family's going to be all upset with you, and planning out your first couple of cities is very valuable. Okay, that having been said, let's figure out where we want this guy to go. Do we want him to head in this direction and just sort of explore the area around that city site? It looks like it's very heavily wooded, so maybe I send my scout that way, and instead I'll send my swordsman off in this direction. Ah, he uncovered an ancient ruin. Now, you could cheese it and, like, back up and change where you send your swordsman, because they are very permissive with this undo system. And technically what I should have done is gone, okay, well, let's do first one movement to here, then I'll go there, then I'll do this. But for now, whatever. I'm not going to go back and cheese it. I should have clicked on that first, and I went over there. Anyway, where do we go next? Do we want to make our other guy here the minister of the capital? Wow! He gets a huge bonus to happiness in the capital. The title with the pin is flat. Lorien Mine can only be on hills. Ooh, is that really true? Nope, it's not. Now I got the devs looking at it. So, I think despite the fact that making him governor will cost us some extra training, it means this is not going to be able to build military units very fast. The extra happiness is crazy. And we get a little extra money and some other stuff. So I'm going to put him in charge. We could hopefully get him some extra courage soon enough as he gains experience. All right. And then here we are. Now, we've got to decide exactly how we're going to build this entire system here. We've already determined we want to put a pasture here. And we know we're going to want to put a mine over here. And we know we want to put a mine there. This now lets us plan the rest of the things that we want to do. We talked about putting a farm here around the pasture, getting the free plus 40% bonus. Oops, I accidentally clicked. So let's keep right-clicking. By the way, if you want your pins to only show up when you have a unit selected, what you do is under UI, only show map tax for worker and no action suggestions. That means the only things that pop up are your pre-planned setups. And by the way, I don't stick to these 100%, but that is going to be my current plan. I have a feeling that not all 4 of these farms are going to be in the exact positions they are. Let's take a reminder about the different buildings. So we know that that's the case. Let's look at the building bonuses and plan some things from there. The rural buildings are kind of the easiest. Mines are bad for being next to hamlets and farms. Don't put them there. They are a bonus for quarries. Quarries are more effective if you put them next to mines. Hills obviously make mines much better. You definitely want to put mines in hills. Plus 60% is huge. And there's small other bonuses being adjacent to specific shrines and adjacent mill class improvements like windmill and watermill. So what we'd like to do is plan to have as many mines and quarries as we can next to the Lorien mine. Because remember, that thing gets a big bonus too. Well, quarries all get bonuses, but let's go ahead and put a mine here where we initially wanted to put the Lorien mine. We're going to put a mine here, and now we're going to put a quarry here and a quarry here. And remember, quarries get a penalty, 50% for each adjacent quarry. Never put quarries next to each other in this set of mods. It's always a tile with a resource and an existing mine which can be replaced by the Lorien mine. Okay, so I guess the Lorien mine that comes with the patrons has the same restrictions as the event that normally starts the Lorien mine being placed, and that event requires it to be placed on a resource. So that probably explains why that's the case. So I'm going to continue looking at the places we might put more. Yeah, we're going to continue to put another mine here. That's going to give another bonus to this. We could then put a quarry here. And quarries aren't great out in the open, but having an extra, 20% from the adjacent mines? Not bad. This one is plus 40%, plus 40%. This one is plus 40%. This little combination of quarries and mines works pretty well. Now, we're going to continue that process and add another mine to this hill because it's, again, boosting the quarry at the same time. And I'm not 100% sure how we're going to expand over here. We maybe put a windmill on one of these and then surround the windmill with mines to give them all boosts. It's Harry's fault as usual. Okay. So we're going to leave that open-ended for the future. In the meantime, what are we going to do in the rest of the area? Well, what I like to consider when I'm building my capital city anyway is how am I going to set up my baths? Baths have to be next to fresh water, or have to be on a tile that has access to fresh water, which means that is something that can only be in certain areas. So I'm wondering if we put the first bath here, which is always cold baths. Oops. And baths also have a penalty for being adjacent to each other. So the next bath could be up here, which is warm baths. And the final one can be right over here, which is heated baths. So now they're not adjacent to each other. And we now can link the things that get bonuses from being adjacent to baths. Baths give bonuses to the Odeon class improvements. And apparently the baths also give bonuses... Oh, mills give bonuses to the baths, which makes sense. So if we were to put a water mill, right on top of that ancient tomb, then that would be good. But I think I want to put the Odeon here. Another Odeon here. And one of the changes in this mod is that you cannot build amphitheaters and theaters. You can only build Odeons, and they develop into theaters, and then theaters develop into amphitheaters over time. So then we know that Odeons give a huge bonus to hamlets, which means I really want to put a hamlet right here, but it's next to the damn mine, so I can't do it. But they also give plus 50% for adjacent shrine area. So what kind of shrine can we put here? Well, with the Romans, we've got the shrine that gives us a bonus to training. That seems like a good one for our capital. Even though we just made our capital have lower training output thanks to the governor, we are going to want to build military units early on. The other one, this one is bonuses for adjacent to lumber mill. That's not going to be useful here. Bonus for adjacent pastures. We only have one pasture, and we're going to surround that with farms. This one is a bonus for adjacent resources, but that's not super great either. So yeah, we're going to plan to put the Shrine of Bologna. My Bologna. So that's going to go right there, and it's going to get the bonuses from these Odeons when it's closer. Now, we know that these baths could get even more. Maybe we put another. Man, I'm really tempted to put like a water mill here. Or here. But actually, no. I know what I want to put here. I want to put a merchant outpost. These are very fun to plan for. There's a whole bunch of buildings that this dynamic world mod has added at the end here. So let's take a look at them. Estates are things that are in the base game. Yep. So so right here is where the base game buildings end. All of the ones above this point are base game buildings that have been tweaked, obviously. But a warrior monastery, this one requires that you have a particular type of religious enhancement, monasticism, but it allows you to build warrior monks. Normally, I think those are only available under certain special conditions. But this gives you the ability to build a monastery that will let you have them. Now, all of these buildings come with big costs, right? This one has a huge food cost, a research penalty, and a growth cost. But warrior monks are great things, and it creates one every time. So it's an interesting trade-off. That one's not super useful to our current discussion. But a grand palace just costs you straight up food, stone, and wood, but gives you 2 victory points. And on completion, it shifts your capital to wherever you've built it. It rebuilds a worker, a caravan, or a royal guard every 8 years. That's actually quite good, because you can always, like, upgrade those workers into militia if you don't need workers and you need military units. Caravans are also nice, and I don't remember if it gives you the choice of those or it just spawns a random one. So that's pretty good. I need to maybe find a place for this. If I have some extra urban areas nearby, I can find a place for this. It is very expensive, but it does get you 2 victory points. After those 2, you get 2 defensive buildings. A watchtower is a less expensive version. You can see it costs 125 training and stone, and it doesn't really cost you any resources to maintain, but you can only have 2 per city. And it does give a huge unit vision, and it spawns a watchtower unit on its tile. Watchtower units cannot move. They are stationary units, and they have good defense. They have the ability to damage things that hit them, and they do damage at range without a modifier to distance. So they are just a good defensive modifier. But boy, howdy, they do cost an upkeep cost. So I'm sorry, I said that it didn't. This one definitely does have an upkeep cost. So that's a regular watchtower, and it gives plus 30% to the watchtower if it's in friendly or neutral territory. Then you've got the Archer Tower, which is something that's unlocked, I think, later, right? Yeah, this is unlocked at the beginning. This is only unlocked with Composite Bow. You can have 3 of these per family. 2 per city, 3 per family. So this one's even more restricted. It's more expensive, and it gives less vision. Notice there's a lot less vision here. The watchtowers let you see what's coming from a long distance. This one does not. This one has a higher defensive value, and it has a higher attack value, and a higher upkeep. It's a really cool concept to be able to say, okay, I know there's an enemy right over here, and I've got these mountains. I'm going to stick an archer tower there so that when the enemy comes through, my army is lined up there, and it can help have that archer tower that's helping to defend, because it's got a lot of extra defense for, it's got 50% for being stationary. It's got 100% just for, what it is. So it's a very cool thing to have one of those options, but they are very well balanced. They are not things you're just going to spam because they do have costs. This is the one I wanted to talk about right now. Merchant outposts must be adjacent to a river. You can only have 1 per city. It can form a canal. So if you had an area like, say this area was blocked, and you wanted to get this water area connected over here, like if you had something like a Suez situation, you can build a merchant outpost here, and then you can find something else that has a canal, like I think a main city also has a canal, and you could move naval units through that area. It acts as water for the purposes of ship movement. So that's good. Let me pull up the chat here and see if there's anybody there saying anything. Not yet. Now, the merchant outpost also creates a worker or a militia every 15 years. So far, that's its main benefit, right? It is giving you 30 money. It costs you growth. It costs you stone. But it gives you some benefit to defense if it's in a defendable area. It gives you some free stuff. It gives you adjacent bonuses to farms and Odeons. But here's the big one. It develops into a minor city. The normal way you can get minor cities in the base game is only by absorbing other city locations that haven't been settled yet. So this gives you another way to create a minor city, albeit a very expensive way, right? You have to spend all these resources and then pay this upkeep cost for, 50 to 80 turns, and then it'll eventually turn into a minor city, giving you 2 victory points. That having been said, I like to plan out at least one of these minor cities. So I'm going to plan it right here where we've got farms adjacent to it, and maybe we'll put an Odeon there as well, because it does say it gives bonuses to farms and to Odeons nearby, which means that we can put a water mill right here, plan that, and that will give bonuses to both of the baths, and maybe we'll put we got to find a spot to put hamlets, right? Maybe here. This could be a hamlet location. Hamlets are important because they are like towns in Civ 4. Yeah, towns in Civ 4. Or they grow into a village, and they're going to provide you gold in the meantime, and then the village provides you with more gold. And especially if it's connected to the trade network, it provides you even more gold, and then it goes into a town even further. So that's going to be a good spot for a hamlet. Can't put one here as much as I might like because of the mine. I'm going to need to put more hamlets out there, and they're best when they're adjacent to Odeons and shrines. So this is a great spot for it, actually. The Odeon and the shrine both give bonuses. So I'll put another hamlet probably over here, just to have a couple of them on the board. We won't need as many hamlets in this capital because we're getting so much money from these mines. Not only are we going to get 80 per year for building this mine here, we're going to then put a miner on here that gives us another 40. And the same thing is true of these areas here. They're going to give us 60 and then another 30 when we put a miner on there. So it's just money's going to be rolling in the capital. That's not going to be a problem. Now, I know that I'm going to want to put a barracks in here at some point. So let's plan that as well. We need a barracks because we need some bonus to our training. I don't know that I'll need a range just yet. And what of these other buildings might I want to put in the capital? So we're looking at urban buildings here, which means barracks, yes. Range, probably. We already did Odeons and all the baths. Market. Hey, that's not a bad idea, actually. We could put a harbor right here. Put nets right next to it. You can see nets gives you bonuses. Now, nets doesn't give us a lot. It gives bonuses for adjacent resources, actually. Huh. I am going to flip those around now that I think about it, because that would give 10 extra gold for being adjacent to this silver. So now we put the harbor here, and we put a grocer here, and we put a fair, oh, nope, sorry. We put a grocer here and a market here, and we know we're going to want to put our fair right here. This is the 3 in that sort of market line. So the grocer's the first one that we can unlock, and then we build, sorry, the market is the first one, then we build the grocer, then we build the fair. All of them get 20% for adjacent harbor class improvements. So this harbor is going to be boosting all of them. All of those boost our income by 20%, which we definitely want because this is going to be a money-making powerhouse of our empire. All right. So now that we've got the market class planned out, do we want to put libraries and or courthouses? Those are the next lines that we don't have. We don't have a lot of room left in this particular area because we're going to need to be able to put down strongholds, and we're going to need to be able to put down, we'll put one of those right here, actually. And we're going to want to put down a citadel. And I guess I could put the citadel over here just in case it comes under attack from that direction, because the citadel allows you to build your tier 2 unique unit. So we definitely have to build those somewhere into this chain of things. Now, I could put something way out over here. This is actually not a terrible place for a citadel. Let's put the citadel over there. And that gives us some, one spot. At some point, if we're like, hey, we don't have any, we don't have enough research. Let's build some libraries and universities and such. Or if we don't have enough civics, we'll build some of these. So these spots are open. And we've got a couple of spots on this little peninsula here also open for more urban expansion. That's enough for now. I didn't talk about the other things down here. Merchant Outpost is where we stopped. Trading Hub is just something that gives you bonuses for adjacent resources. So if you've got an area with 2 resources right next to each other, like this one, instead of putting a quarry here, here, I could put a trade hub. Now, trade hubs actually, are they urban? No. Which means we cannot put it here. We'd have to put it here. But this mine gets a 50% bonus for being adjacent to the Lorien mine. I don't know if I can give that up. If I could have afforded to do that, I think I'd build the trading hub here for even more stuff. It gives you happiness and growth and more money. It doesn't turn into anything. It doesn't do anything crazy. Tavern gives you unhappiness and adds the wine luxury. So if you really are short on luxury goods, then you can build a tavern to get that. I don't know that I've ever built the tavern, to be honest. Unless an area just has so much happiness that you don't care. It does give it a little bit of growth, but it also costs a lot of food. Foreign Fighter Hub. This one is interesting. It increases your rebel chance, and it costs a lot of food and iron, and it even gives you some unhappiness. But it costs you tons of civics. But it will create a unique unit from only another faction every 12 years. That's kind of cool. It's also kind of unreliable. Like, what if I don't need a hoplite? What if I needed something else and I got unlucky? Actually, no, a Hestatus is here. So it gives you a level 1 unit from one of the other factions. It seems kind of cool. If I had a spot with it, and all of these seem to give bonuses for an adjacent resource. So it's like if you ever have tiles where you're just like, well, I've got a resource there, but there's not stuff around there that I really care to build, then maybe these are good. So that's the Foreign Fighter Club. Iron Forge is really cool. It gives bonus training per adjacent mine. I'm hoping we find better quarry places because I want to plan to put an iron forge right there. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, because this is going to get a bonus per adjacent mine, and it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mines around it already. I'll put a quarry here, though, because I'm also probably going to have mines here and here, and I'm probably going to need the extra stone. I might be able to change that into a mine, but a mine there just won't be as effective. It will boost this a little bit, but what are the other things here? Bonus XP for melee units. It's a spawn point for melee units. It cannot be built, obviously can't be built inside of own territory. You can only have a couple per city, and it does cost you a lot of iron and forest, but it does massively boost your training output, because this would be, what, 2 per adjacent mine. So I'd get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then another 4 just from out. That's 14 training. That's a huge amount. So I'm probably going to want to put that there. What else do we have? Recruitment camp gives you extra training at the cost of the growth. And it lets you, more importantly, it lets you hurry units with population. And it gives you extra training per year per population. So this can turn a city that has a lot of extra growth into a city that has a lot of extra training. It's a conversion place with its own costs. And then the fortress is, wow, it requires 11 active laws. It's like a crown jewel on top of your citadel. And it looks like you only have 1 per city, and it's just a nicer bonus. Yeah, just a bigger version of a citadel, and it lowers rebels' chances. I don't know that I'm ever going to get a chance to build this. By the time I get here, I'll probably use up all the slots around my city. But that's a cool thing. Now that we've got that all planned, how far are we in here? Hold on, let me pull up XSplit. Does it say how long we've been streaming? Yeah, 50 minutes. We're about to start turn 1. We're about to hit end turn. So what's the last thing we can do? We can move our explorer. And we found a little lagoon there. That's good. And now we're out of orders. We got to choose our research. Now, we don't need a camp yet. We might go divination to get that early shrine. Treasury is nice. And I'm going to want a granary eventually, but let's go divination for now. And we know we're probably going to need to move this guy to do something next turn. But for now, we ran out of orders. I wanted to get some exploring done. So it is what it is. What I do want to do is remind myself which things I want. I definitely want husbandry next because I want those pigs to get built. Are there any others that I really want to prioritize? I don't need groves. Getting the exploration bonus here from rhetoric does seem useful, as does the extra free worker. That might be the reason to choose administration over divination. In fact, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back and unchoose that. I'm going to choose administration in order to get the free worker at least added to the thing. Rhetoric is going to be higher up on my list, and divination is also going to be up on my list. So I've got those kind of reminding me that I'm prioritizing those. All right. So the next question is, oh, he's a courtier. Why is he a courtier? He's a court minister. I must have gotten a court minister for free when I got the patrons. I see. Now, I got no resources. Oh, I do have the luxury that I have to send somewhere. We'll send the literature to Rome soon. We'll see just how happy we can make Rome. Right now, it's crazy happy. We're going to send another resource to it, a luxury here. So, sending the literature here gives us an extra 4 culture and 2 happiness per year. So now, yeah, we're just shooting up the happiness. We're going to be so damn productive here. Okay. Now we do have to have something be done with our worker here. Let's build the mine. The gold mine is so valuable. And we can grab this. The Great Migration. Broken vessels and strange markings indicate that these ruins were once occupied by a tribe from beyond the sea. Do we want to commission scouts? Oh, I love getting early scouts. Yeah, I definitely want that. I mean, 75 research is really good, but I want the 2 free scouts and an ambition. I can definitely get exploration pretty easily. I'm already aiming to get rhetoric. I'm already doing administration, so it should be easy enough. So now we can send these scouts out. Now, scouts can't go over water yet. That's a different... We found the Vale of Tempe. You know what's a little concerning? When I found this lagoon, it indicated that I was not the first one to find it. Usually when you're the first one to find it, you get the option to name it. Oh, this is a lagoon down here. I thought it was talking about that little thing. So yeah, somebody somewhere, anywhere on the coast of that thing named it before I did. Now, all our scouts are invisible no matter where they are, so I can walk right up to this barbarian. That is the one very nice thing about being a schemer. Ooh. That's a nice little city you got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. So let's move on. Oh, I'm out of orders. I have too many scouts and not enough orders right now. I'm going to need some legitimacy. Stat. Oh, and my training is getting eaten up by my crappy leader and my crappy governor. If we're going to get a marriage proposal, we better find somebody with some courage. How about not to that guy? He's already my governor. How about, yeah. This guy will give me a +6, at least stem the tide on my training. So we now got this guy as king. And we're going to send this unit a little bit further that way. And it's always good to find these landmarks before somebody else. You get 2 legitimacy if you're the first one to find it, and only 1 if you're the second person to find it. I'm going to send my warrior down here with the intention of gaining some experience by fighting these barbarians. Hey, that gave me an extra order. Oh, we found the edge of the map. Okay. So we take this city, and that is well-defended city. Which is disappointing because that kind of looks like a city that I might want to build champions on. It doesn't have any benefit from patrons. And landowners could build some farms over here. Yeah, they could build a granary here, and they could build some farms along this river. There's some lush terrain there, and obviously they're going to make tons of food. Landowners don't get bonuses for the water, though, but let's go ahead and mark that as a place we're going to put landowners. Now, once we decide we want to get landowners, we have to get champions too. Like, one of your 3 should be champions if you're going to be playing against anybody that's going to be fighting you. You have to assume that. So now we have no more orders. We have to go again. I need more legitimacy, damn it. Oh. We have a newborn heir. And we've got the Persians. Our men hurry towards the noise and discover an injured Persian lying in the dirt. Their caravan was transporting goods, so we can help him. We can help him a lot. Oh, no, we can actually give them some training for money or steal their stuff. We don't have a champion start, and they are right next to us. We have to keep them happy, guys. We have to keep them happy. AIs... Marcus, how about Marcus? Listen closer to the old beggar's words of wisdom. The child becomes cursed, blessed, or divine. Ah, come on. It's a 2 out of 3. Let's find out what happens. All right. Here's a great thing. We want to put our swordsmen here on the urban area, because if we look at the urban terrain, infantry get plus 25% defense on urban terrain. I think hills also give some defense on... No, only if you're a Highlander, really. No, versus melee and clear melee combat, plus 25. So if you're on a hill attacking down, is that what that's implying? I'm not sure. But I know that we want to be here in the urban terrain. And then we want to attack them. Now they get the bonus to defend as urban as well. And we can see how the morale system is working here. My unit has a discipline of 11. It's got 8 base discipline. I think all units have 8 base discipline. The warrior gets an extra 2 automatically. The family is pleased, which means it gets an extra +1. If this unit spent some time inside of our borders, its 8 would automatically start to rise until it got to 11. If it does well and gives the enemy damage without taking much of its own, if it kills enemies especially, it will gain current morale, and if it goes above 11, it'll have to drop back down towards 11 every turn. So the benefit of its current morale level is that it gets bonus defense. So you can see here that if you get to at least 11, you start getting the bonus for Vigilant, which actually boosts your ability to counter an enemy. If you get up to here, you're Confident, which boosts your critical strike, critical hit chance. If you're Arrogant, your attacks cleave instead. And if you're Unhinged, you lose defense, lose the chance to enlist the enemy, and it attacks circle for 50. I think that means that attack damages all 6 tiles surrounding the attacking unit. Oh my god, that's crazy. But right now, we're just going to attack and not do too much damage. In fact, he's going to do 2 to me and only 3 back to him. This is not great. But we got 9 XP, and it's our leader, and that's with the Steadfast Leader, which unfortunately, does that overwrite the fact that as a general? Oh no, we never put our leader on our guy, did we? Let's back up then, because I think I want to do that before we go in a fight here. Yes, okay. I wanted to put my queen leading this, because she'll get much more attack. Wait, can we do that? No, that's the only action they can do. So next turn, they'll move in and attack. Meanwhile, this guy's got to come back and do some searching of his own. And since we know the map ends right over here, this guy's got to go searching in a different direction. And we have one more. This guy can continue searching along the coast. Ooh, we found Carthaginians. We are really grouped in together with these guys this time. One moment. Let's see. If I click on this, I can ban this person for spamming my channel. Twitch obviously doesn't have a very good spam fixing thing if there's people still spamming. Anyway, we've met them. What kind of interaction do we want? I think humble should offend no one, but cautious cultures might find it suspicious. Let's start with friendly. Aggressive cultures might perceive it as weakness. Are Carthage aggressive? I don't know. Let's try humble. All right. So yeah, here's Carthago. That's their capital. Parsa is also their capital. I've never had 2 capitals this close to me before. Not least of which, there's a city, like what's supposed to be, quote unquote, my city site is right over here. Oh. Child of Prophecy. Oh, I thought I clicked that already. I had to undo it. Okay, here we go. Oh, he's truly blessed. Blessed is great. 10% chance to become a religion head, and just a ton of events that are positive events that trigger only if your character is blessed, or a higher chance to trigger if your character is blessed. Oh, damn it, they spawned that unit. See, this is what I get. That guy should have had the general on it from turn 2, and I failed. But let's go ahead and continue and move to attack the elite skirmisher that's on the capital, not the capital, the outpost here. At the very least, will not attack me. He won't leave this area. If he was a ranged unit, he would attack me, but he's not. So we'll come over here, we'll attack, and we're going to pay attention to what our morale is. Our morale went up a little bit as a result of that. And it's also, the military discipline is much higher, but we're not trending towards it because we're not in friendly territory. So, did his morale go down a little bit? Yeah, it looks like it did. It was at 8, but it's damaged, so he's got a little penalty for going for the damage situation. Now, if he were to attack me, he's only at -2 because, yeah, going uphill into terrain that is clear gives them a penalty. So we have the bonus for being on a hill, the defensive benefit. Okay, now let's continue exploring this direction. I think I need to get that city site first and foremost before Carthage does. In fact, I might just have my scout go sit on it. Normally, the AI leaves the 2 sites that are supposed to be your quote-unquote expansion sites alone, but I don't know if that's the case if they're this close. Always explore onto hills because you usually get a longer line of sight. Oh, we found Thracians. So here's where we're going to put our schemer leader to good use. When you first meet these tribes, it is often true that you get the option to choose to show how unafraid you are of the barbarians by declaring war immediately. It gives you +6 legitimacy, which at the beginning of the game is huge because I've only got 19. But if you're at war with these tribes, it means while your scouts are exploring, they're constantly going to run into them and take damage and have to come back to friendly territory to heal and then go back out. It really slows down your scouts' exploration. So often you would want to choose one of these other options. And if we were warlike or bloodthirsty or cruel or fierce, we could choose the good option. But in this case, because we are invisible, because we're schemers, we're absolutely just going to take the free legitimacy. One more thing about the Dynamic World mod is you'll notice right now we have 22 research, 20 civics, and I think this is also going to change. Yes, if we declare war, then we get 5 extra research and training per war, and we get 5 fewer civics per war. So that is beneficial in this case because I was about to run out of training, and I don't know what happens when you do that. I'm pretty sure you lose other resources instead. Okay, that having been said, let's continue exploring in this general vicinity. And now we're out of orders again. So we're going to pay attention down here because I'm hoping we can kill that guy pretty quick and maybe level up that warrior and then bring him back over here to heal. Oh! Those guys are ranged? Did I misread them? I swear, I looked at it like 3 times. Oh, it's not showing up here. It's showing the morale instead, but skirmishers do have a range. That's really annoying. Because normally when you hover over this, it shows range right there, but Harry, you put the morale in the way. I couldn't tell that they weren't ranged. Maybe I'm supposed to know that skirmishers are ranged. Anyway, maybe it's always a ranged guy, because it always seems to be a ranged guy on the capital. Anyway, I think I can stick around for a little longer. This guy's going to do 1. That guy's going to do... they're both going to do 2. So I'm only going to take 4. This is not bad. I can continue to attack and increase my own morale, decrease theirs. Their morale now puts them under to wavering. They retreat when attacked next time, and their attack power has gone down. So my morale is continuing to increase. Aha! A free worker. That's the one we were working towards. And while we do want divination, the free worker is going to be more valuable to us right now. Extra orders. Found the edge of the map at the Rubicon. Of course. Why not? All right. So, 1 second. Now we've got to decide what is going on over here. Stories and souvenirs. Oh, we've encountered the Babylonians already. Show them our goodwill with a gift, make them happy, but they are way over here behind a mountain range. I'm not... Oh, God, they stole my city site already? Are they going to stay there? Do I have to attack them? I think I have to declare war on them. Take the city site. Because that will give me less civics, but more training and more research. Diplomats from Carthage seek the court's recognition. The claim that the ruler respects Rome and humbly wishes to establish relations. Ah, the humble nature of our first meeting is good. So we could become gracious, which is a nice strength, but all our cities are unhappy. We could gain some extra orders if we see them when it's convenient, or unsolicited visitors will not be heard. Well, that's a nice boost to our legitimacy, but we want to be friendly with them because they are way too close to us right now. And remember, the AI in this game, one of the things that makes them strong is that they start the game with more cities and more progression on the tech tree than you. See, here's the thing. Elephants give research. Horses give extra orders. I'm hoping that we can go take him out with the soldier that's coming back from the fight over here after he finishes killing these guys. Oh, he's already done. That's for the turn. So let's see. What else is there? All right, now we're out of orders. You're out of orders. We're going to need to find out. We were going to build that shrine. Damn, we can't get divination yet. Arrgh. I'm going to need more training in the capital to build units, but Jesus, we're so behind because this governor sucks. I could replace them, but do we have a better option? We do. We do. It'll cost me orders and more civics, probably, or... yeah, civics and training that I don't have. I can't replace the terrible governor because I don't have the training because the governor's bad at training. Oh, dear. Well, there's our free worker, though. So at least there's that. And they're retreating. So that guy's going to get killed next turn. We're going to have some pretty cheap promotions, and then we're going to come back over here. Ah. We already have our... oh, man, I really, really wanted to go... oh, we can grab the city site. Excellent. Okay. We determined that was going to be our champions. That's where we're going to build our military units, so we're going to send our settler right off in that direction. I think there is something in the AI that kind of prevents them from sitting on these city sites for the first X number of turns to give you a chance. Because otherwise it's RNG if they happen to stumble across them and steal them from you at the beginning versus not. Rhetoric was going to allow us to get exploration. And that is going to help us move along rivers and scouts move on water. So, and that's also our ambition. So that is a strong choice. Husbandry, though, allows us to build on the pasture here. Arg. Well, we don't have the civics yet to enact exploration. So we'll get that the next time around. Go for husbandry first. So this scout is just going to chill here. And now we've got some warriors. What are we going to do with it? Well, there's not workers is what I meant to say. We are currently losing iron. So I think getting a mine that has a huge boost to it right now is going to be good because these aren't producing any iron at all. It's just money. And while we do have a lot of money, I'm going to need to hire some... I wish I could hire the barbarians. Yikes. The Carthage. Carthage gets to hire the barbarians, I think. Or maybe it's a particular leader archetype. I can't remember. All right. This guy is going to go and build on the nice lush terrain because we are also running out of food pretty rapidly. So husbandry will help out with that too. And what are we going to build in the capital? We don't need another scout. We got that for free. Maybe another settler. I think definitely another settler. And after that, a miner for sure to get that extra money. We don't want to lose access to that. And we could build a militia because that does not cost training. And hopefully we'll have more growth when we get the pasture soon. Okay. Now, what's next? This just has nothing for us. Okay. There's some extra camels. Plus 13 training. Ooh, that was very valuable, actually. All right, next year. We want to prioritize our military unit. Getting that kill. And our settler moving. Now, hang on. Did I misunderstand that? No, that's the same in both cases. Okay. And then we're going to get this kill, and I'm hoping it levels us up. Yes, it leveled us up. Now, when you level up, he got the kill, so he got a lot of morale bonus. But when you level up, you also gain discipline, which increases your overall morale level where it returns to. So now we need these guys to like run back here, heal for a couple of turns, get their discipline up, and then figure out what we want to do with them next. Ooh, more barley. This is even better for a landowner's start. And lots of lush terrain. Huh, some furs. That means it'll be good for... Furs will give us a camp. Camps are good for... adjacent lumber mills. So we can put lumber mills all around this on lush terrain. Lush. This is also a good lumber source. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. And then we'll have more farms down here. Oh, it's going to be glorious. Glorious. All right, now we've got 2 orders left over, and we can definitely make this guy like us some more. Wow, he really loves us. The heir is from his family. That makes sense. And the leader's spouse is from his family. Yeah, so he loves us for a lot. And I made him governor. So he likes us for a lot of reasons. But we're going to influence him to get him to like us even more. And that means the patrons will like us even more. Never had a 200 family on like turn 10. Moving forward. Leave him alone. Huh. Oh, there's an empty space there. That's why we can get a little bit closer. And now this guy's just going to head running home. Fast as you can. We don't have a ton of growth here. And right now it's being used in the settler, so we don't have any more citizens to add. But we're going to get more when we get that pasture. I'm trying to reveal the outermost area so that when I get the landowners to settle, I know exactly which one of the urban tiles to have them settle. One of the things I have to really determine right now... Ooh, there's a barbarian. Are there... I'm going to have to harvest those next turn. Are there sites I want to race the AI to get control of? This one looks like a solid landowner. Although I already have a landowner that I'm going to get down here. So this might have to be something else. Maybe this could be a champions. It's really far away from any potential war except a war against Persia. So it also looks like there's no... I'm going to reveal more of it. If there's any good silver or gold or gems up here, then obviously it's a patron. Otherwise, it's definitely going to be a champions. And then we'll go to war with Persia. Why go to war with Persia? Because my champions are closer to them. That's why. I'm just going to double check something here. Yeah, it's public. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of people watching. How's the volume on this, by the way? This is a fully new setup, so please let me know if there's anything unusual that's not working here in the chat. So we got the influence on the oligarch. Our prince is now old enough to be tutored by courtiers. Hey, we can do that. Merchants from Carthage arrive in Roma, offering to trade us materials in exchange for works of art produced by our potters. Painters and sculptors. What do we need? It looks like iron is the most expensive. And right now, we're still not getting enough of it. We'll get some soon, but I'm also concerned. There's a way for us to get iron. In fact, we're building an iron mine right now. We don't have a lot of... We can't really build any quarries until we expand this. So I think I'm going to ask for the stone. All right, we're going to build one more farm here. And then build the pasture when that becomes available. Husbandry is still... Why is husbandry way over in the corner there? That's weird. Oh, because this went away. All right, the Thracians hate us. We don't care, because they can't see our scouts. You can't see our scouts. Ha ha. All right. Perfect. So we're just going to go to the close... Because I think I want to come right back and finish taking that barbarian camp. We're going to heal. First, we're going to promote. We get a free promotion. Combat 1 is just a nice general bonus to both attack and defense by 10%. Do I want amphibious? Is there going to be enough fighting over water areas? Well, if I'm planning to attack Persia in the future, I don't see a ton of water fighting in my future. So that's not great. But Tracker leads to Swift, which is, ooh, that is nice. Leads to Breakthrough, can rout on kill. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I haven't done Tracker a lot. Herbalist is actually kind of good too, especially when you have very few units. I like Combat 1, but it's going to be Herbalist. Oh, nice! We got a little bonus to our legitimacy by getting a slightly better cognomen. Anytime you qualify for one of these titles, the Ready, the Great, the Conqueror, the Settler, it checks and says, hey, the thing that you just qualified for, is it better than the one you currently have? And if the answer is yes, then it gives you the new title. The one I had before was the new, I think, which is like a 10 legitimacy or something. So now these guys can heal. And they healed 9 instead of 5, which is huge. They're going to be back over here in 2 turns instead of 3. And what else do we want to do? Why are these guys slightly weakened? I might have left them for a turn in the sand or something where it was -1. Oh, beautiful terrain. What do we got here? The armies of Rhone have grown at an incredible rate. Have they, though? Rumors spreading that your forces are numerous beyond compare. I have 1! And I just leveled them up, that's all. The question for most is, to what purpose are these armies intended? Clear 3 tribal sites. That, I think, is different than barbarian sites. I'm not 100% sure. Is it referring only to Thracians? Let me see if the word tribal comes up in here. Barbarians are considered tribal. So clearing 3 barbarian sites and or more organized tribes would allow us to claim that ambition. That's entirely possible. And 75 extra training would be nice. I'm not producing that much wood anytime soon. So I'm going to take this ambition. Because I'm planning on going back to kill that tribal site right now and then pivoting up there. Now, the General of Warrior. Highlander could be valuable because we're definitely going to be fighting on hills up here, and we're going to be fighting on hills down here. Bonus attack from hill. Eloquent is nice if you're a governor, but we're going to take Highlander. Yeah, that's a good one. Look at all this lush terrain, and there's pasture next to the lush, too. Oh, man. This city is definitely going to claim, like, out to here and say, okay, the elephants, yeah, you guys can have that, but we're taking all this beautiful farmland for ourselves. Discovered husbandry. The current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend you use a stream of at least 13.5. Huh. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? Does the quality look good? Alright, do we want to go that far? It is kind of nice, but... Let's go here. Okay, we can see there's nothing in that. Do we want the cows, or do we want the elephants down there? I think I want the elephants and the hills here, because mines on those hills can actually give us bonus training. So here's our champion family seat. Atia the Settler. Oh, that's a huge boost up from the ready. 13 to 32? Yeah, baby. Taking it. And here, what do we want to build here? A worker for sure, but then I'm thinking I'm going to need more warriors, so I'm going to pay the gold cost to buy the iron I need. Holding Alt, by the way, lets you, it shows you things that you can afford if you just pay the gold cost. So Alt plus click means I get to pay for the iron with money. Food is a problem, but it won't be soon. We're still working on that. Rhetoric is the one that gives us exploration eventually, so let's do that one. I have to be careful now to not spend my civics so that I can actually enact exploration and get that legitimacy boost. Now we're going to heal one more time. And notice our morale is going up by 1.3 per turn because our military discipline is 17. Now, I thought it was higher than that when we were attacking before, but I guess we didn't get that much extra discipline from the fight. So next turn, our discipline will continue to go up. 11.8. When we go above 14 is when we go to confident, which gives us bonus crit chance. Now this guy right here starts, I guess every new unit starts with its discipline or its morale at like half of its discipline, it looks like. And unlike the warrior, the conscript doesn't get +2 extra military discipline just for being its unit type. So it looks like the militia line, militia, conscript, and what the heck is the later one called? Conscript upgrades into upgrades from militia. Doesn't say what upgrades to. I thought there was another militia level 1. I guess not. I was thinking of pikemen, but I think that is not a militia level. So I guess conscript is the highest level militia one you get. And militia don't get a bonus. You can see the pikemen probably have their discipline listed in here. Let's see. He hasn't listed the discipline here. It only seems to show up in the actual... Like, I don't think warrior discipline shows up either if we hover over that. Oh yeah, bonus military discipline. So warriors are special in that they get the bonus military discipline. Oh, I bet you axemen do too. No, they don't. Okay, so that's just a warrior thing. Yeah, they're weaker compared to everything else, but they've got good discipline, damn it. So spearmen have a 20%, 25% more attack and defense by default, but they have less discipline overall. Huh. Who knew? And so this guy is just going to chill here. He's going to gain some morale over the course of his existence. Eyes of Fate, an emissary of the Scythian people. Scythian people are here. Oh, and they bring greetings from Queen Opus. She becomes influenced by us, and we get bone dice. Or we gain a little bit of legitimacy, or we go to war and gain a lot of legitimacy. Now, so far, I've got this big lagoon, probably bad call it a lagoon, more like a sea, to the south. And I've got this very isolated expanded area over here, and here. If there's a tribe north in these mountains, the mountains will allow me... Actually, I can go look that up right now, can't I? Okay. Hey, that's why I wanted to go that way, just in case. So, there's really no tribes up here that I'm worried about. The Thracians are a couple of things away. The Scythians can't really harm me. I'm going to take the free legitimacy. Again, it's only free because I've got the schemer archetype, and so my scouts are not at risk when I go near them. It is costing me civics, you can see. It's costing me an extra 15 civics for the 3 wars that I'm in. Persia's at peace with Carthage. That's okay. Oh, I forgot to tutor Marcus. Didn't they say he was old enough to be tutored? The minister is my governor, though. I don't want to waste civics replacing my governor. So I guess there's nobody to tutor Marcus. Sorry, Marcus. Our explorers discover a group of orphaned, homeless, and hungry children hiding in the ruins. We can become cruel and just take their stone. We take the stone or the children. We can always use citizens in Rome. We get child labor. You know what? That's not terrible because of how much happiness we currently have there. We have a righteous governor that's giving us all kinds of happiness because of all the justice. And then they're like, yeah, also we're going to have child labor. I think we're going to shelter the children and gain some free compassion? Charisma. Because we do want to get extra civics, which will let us get the exploration law. Now what? Building the nets gives us some extra money. Building the hamlet also gets some extra money, and that grows up faster than the nets. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And once this guy's done, he's going to start building a pasture. And these guys are now at 13 and, I mean, getting to 17. Do we really want to wait a turn so they can get one more thing that they're going to get anyway? Nah. We'll just send them down there because this thing is going to keep spitting out barbarians. So the sooner I can get down there and fight it, the better it is. And now we're going to go ahead and harvest the goats. Now let's go explore the Carthaginian lands, if we can. Yep, still invisible. Here we go. Building a pasture. Now, it's only one growth, but any growth is beneficial right now. Oh, and one away? Oh, but there's somebody to kill. Wow, look at this. Because we're a Highlander, we get 25% bonus going down from the attacking from the hill. The leader also gives us that extra bonus. It stacks. The family likes us, so we get 20%. And Steadfast gives us 50%. Steadfast leader gets another 10. Say good night, buddy. No chance. No chance at all. Oh, there's a barbarian down here. And a minor city right next to it. Damn you, Carthage. You're just going to be able to walk over there and take it. And they have 4 cities. Babylonia has 5 cities. Persia only has 1. It is unusual when an AI spawns with only 1 city. I really need to come up here and steal this as fast as I possibly can, which is why the settler has to build another fighting unit. And the warrior's going to take too long, so I'm going to have it build a militia or a headhunter. It's a 4 instead of a 3. Yeah, we're going to build a headhunter, and we're actually going to put that higher than the miner. And the military unit that we're building out of here will probably also come to attack that barbarian camp in time. Ooh. Incense. Aha! The seer Diphoebe sits upon a crumbling dais at the center of the ruins, arms raised to the heavens, saying she's been waiting for us. She claims to be a seer and oracle of voice of the divine. I will serve you faithfully until the end of your reign. Ambition to build the oracle. I don't think I have the resources to do that, not if I'm trying to expand to race the Persians for that barbarian camp. Now, what does the oracle require? 600 civics. I got to do my ambition. I can't avoid that. 300 food, which I definitely don't have. I'm getting 1 per turn. Yeah, this is just not feasible. I really would like to have a free court scholar, but I can't take on an ambition that I can't finish. Especially because the AI is going to race me to those things, and it just won't be able to take it. Okay, divination's good. Let's get divination. That'll get us the Belladonna shrine, which will help us in a number of ways. Oh, yeah, look. And this is a great spot that's perfectly protected from all around it. So we said landowners here and champions here. I kind of hate how far off in the middle of nowhere this champions one is. Because if I'm turning it into something that builds a lot of units, it's kind of a pain. But I'm going to need to find a place to build patrons. Camels, wheat, elephants. There's no gems, damn you. But maybe I'll put the patrons here if I can actually defeat the Persians. They're not going to be pushovers, I think. They still have 1 city, though, and I've got 2, and it's about to be 3. What is Marcus going to study? Well, I always like tactics at this point when I'm planning some early fighting, which isn't all the time, but right now I definitely need it. We have a 24% chance of enlistment. That is part of the morale system. Enlistment is a possible thing, right? I think the headhunter, by default, has like a bonus to enlistment. Rome as a... Oh, and I didn't mention that. We didn't actually look. Rome's bonuses in this mod. +1 random promotion for all new units. Forum becomes enhanced by extra happiness. And the enlist chance is +10%. And bonuses for same unit being adjacent. for formations, basically. So, killing this unit, and we've got a pretty high chance to enlist because it's 10% for being Rome, and then it's another bonus for their morale being low. So, wavering... Oh, maybe not. I thought there was a... Oh, yeah, 14% chance to be enlisted on death. So that's where that comes from. Unfortunately, we didn't get the enlistment. But these guys, if you notice, their morale went down when their friend died. Which is just so cool. I mean, it's what you would expect. Trying to map out the terrain here. There's more barbarians. Carthage... despite already having 4 cities, doesn't have the 2 barbarian camps right next to them with minor cities. Carthage is going to shoot up there on the victory point track when they build these 2 cities. They're just going to get instantly 2 victory points each. Plus the fact that the city itself is worth 1 until it starts growing. Oh, we found the top of the map. And over here... goats. Ah, we found another one of those exploration thingies. So I wonder what Persia's deal is here. They still have not yet expanded. What was this opulent splendor? I think opulent splendor is from estates? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah. +1 victory point for opulence every time you do that project. And it costs 500 money and 100 civics, but you get +1 victory point each time. But each one costs you a huge upkeep in money. Okay, that's interesting. Ooh, our first rebels. So if we come here, it's +5. If we come here, it's 7. So we're going to go to that highland area. And wow, why do we have purple? Is it because we're above our military discipline? No, I think it's because we're arrogant. But cleave is not super valuable right now. So if we could get up to unhinged, that doesn't help either. Confident is actually best. If we could get back down to 17, that would be great. Instead, we're really, really high up. But if we can kill this guy in the next 4 turns and take the space, that's better. And then the question is, do we want to do the landowners over here first or the landowners over here first? This just has so much food from the fish. Tons of food from the fish. I think I want both the landowners as fast as possible, in fact. So maybe, after building this military unit, I'm going to have a settler built here. And the settler from here will just walk over to here and get that, and the settler that's being built over here will go in this direction. That seems like a good idea. We are going to need to park a unit on that to make sure it's safe, but in the meantime, we now see the penalty of this. Our conscript here is going to take 2 turns to kill the rebels, which means the rebels are going to attack the city next turn, which is going to make it unhappy, and it's going to be all kinds of other stuff. Now, drama gives us Odeons, which is a good thing to have soon. Ooh, but unlocking an ambassador is nice. It can keep the families happy, so we're going to go ahead and get that. Odeons should probably be next on the list, though. And then definitely trapping and military drill. I'm falling behind on that, but that's not an option right now. Ah, there's their other cities. I guess it is kind of... They've got another minor city right next to them. And another city right next to that. That's 2 more minor cities. Carthage is going to just kick my ass on victory points if I don't get in a big war with them and take over their stuff later on. Luckily, I have a champion city that I am going to turn into a massive military training facility. Eventually. We got to win a war with Persia first, probably. All right. Oh, we found that. That's right. Nothing about the hulking dirt mound seems impressive at first. Not until your troops explore the adjacent desert hills do they return with news. At a distance, these primitive ruins compose a massive pattern. This is like the Nazca lines, huh? Some extra culture. Ooh, or extra XP. I don't hate the XP. Is the 30 culture going to be more valuable? Rome doesn't have a very fast culture production, does it? Yeah, it's only 6.7. This will actually bump us up, so I'm going to take it. Ah, we found more Scythians. Oops. I wanted to maybe grab 4 food. All right, and this is probably the edge of the map here, even though it looks like there's other stuff back there. A small group of naturalists near Rome have been felling trees and carving the timber into usable wood for the city. They are requesting that the area of forest near the city be allocated for a permanent lumber mill where trees can be selectively harvested. So we could add a free lumber mill, science, or gain a worker. Having a lumber mill this early is not terrible, but the only useful spot that I don't already have allocated is like here, because it's a lush area. And lush gives an extra 2 to lumber mill. It used to be 3. They changed it. I could instead put the cold baths somewhere else and build a lumber mill here next to the water mill. Where could I put said baths? Put them here and have another water mill there. Yeah. What if we did that? What if... Nope. That's not what I wanted to do. So let's reconsider this. Let's put cold baths here. Warm baths there. And hot baths, heated baths up here. We'll put a water mill here. And then in this space, we could put a lumber mill, which benefits from the water mill. The water mill gives bonuses to mines, lumber mills, and bath class things adjacent. And then having a lumber mill here means that both of these would also get bonuses. And we could put another one here if we really wanted to. But that's a nice lush spot, so I don't know if I want to necessarily. We'll hold off on that and see what Persia might develop in that direction. Parsa, rather. So now that I tell it to add a lumber mill, it should theoretically automatically add it to any of the lumber mill spots that we have chosen. So, there it is. Look at that. Now we have some income on our lumber. Now, we actually had a lot from Farming Focus, but if we were to build some archers and stuff, we would have a big drain on our lumber. So this is not bad, having this income. Now we're ending the year with a full order that we could go and add somewhere. I just don't have anything to do with it right now. So we're going to have to take an extra civic or something. Whatever. I think the order gets turned into like 10 civics, maybe? Oh, good. My guys lost some morale. Keen to indulge in the pleasures of the flesh. Oh, no! My husband is wanton. Ooh, do we want him to become a commander? I've always liked commander. That 20% bonus if same adjacent is very nice. And adjacent units get the same bonus. Oh, that's really cool. And as leader, we get an extra 20 training per war and can assign generals from other families. And having a headquarters in a city gives an extra order every year. Oh, commander's kind of cool. Or a schemer. We already have a schemer. I'm not a huge fan of it right now. I'm going to take... Yeah, he's going to be a commander. Commander seems cool. Time passes quickly. Duchess Semperiona is growing up fast and eager to learn. Well, let's have her study philosophy. Maybe she can become a judge or a builder or a scholar. That would be beneficial. My recent battles against the Scythians, I have had none, have been hard fought but not without gains. After a recent skirmish, your forces managed to capture Bradacos the Scythian, who's not only a warrior of some renown, but also has a history of friendship with our people. There was some talk of ransoming back to the Scythians, but given that there's no love lost between them, perhaps there are better ways of dealing with this prisoner. Ooh, a court soldier. That can make up for my crappy courage. And we'll get some... Oh, or we get some wisdom. I'll take the court soldier. Excellent. He didn't come with any negatives either. Although, he doesn't like me because of the war with his people. Whoops! Sorry, buddy! I guess he doesn't like me. Let's see if we can't influence him to make him like me a little more so that these actually help me. And, you know, maybe we can make friends with his people. Ooh, we found some mountains up here in the north. Wow, there's more territory back here. Is this a city site? This is a city site. What's over here? That is crazy go nuts. Here we go. Bellona. My Bellona. Hello, Dr. Kane. Good to see you too. Yeah, I've just been doing a lot of stuff in real life. Haven't had a lot of streaming time. But how's your humankind modding going? Man, I really there's so much I want that game to be that it's just not quite. And Old World just suits me very well. Every once in a while, I go back to Humankind, and I'm like, oh, there's been a patch, and there's an expansion, and this, that, and that. Maybe I get back into it. And I'm like, yeah, I forgot. Why didn't I play this more? And then I keep playing, and I go, oh, that's why I don't play that more. The thing that always gets me, I just hate how big the cities sprawl in that game. And you do a lot of sprawling in this, too, but the fact that half of the improvements you build are urban improvement or rural improvements make it feel like the city isn't huge. In that game, by the end game, the entire map is Coruscant. It's just one giant city. It's crazy. It's like everything is the California, the Southern California megalopolis across the entire map, and it feels so artificial and dumb. I just wish they had built their system in a way that didn't cause that to happen. Fewer expansions, maybe only around the city center, and then rural expansions from beyond that. I don't know. Making milk, huh? Ooh, fish. How old's your kid? Oh, we got another kid. Having an extra royal or two is never bad. Well, until they vie for the throne, then it might be bad. Persia kneel before us. Future generations of our people will remember your generosity. Let's see. Do we want... I mean, we have tons of wood. Maybe they can get them to pay us? Sure. Fund the transition to peace with Carthage. That's beautiful, because I want to attack Persia first. So I think I want to be at peace with Carthage. Wishing to acquire more pieces. And it costs a little money. But yeah, absolutely. Your spies have intercepted a message from King Ulambriash the Capable. The message details the location of Oligarch Dakim's next attack. Schemes start to form. You could make sure the message reaches the guy and send your trappers to lay an ambush, or you could edit the message to make it seem like the general is being accused of treason, leading to rebellion in Babylon. A Civ 7 themed mod, huh? Oh, hey, I'll mess around with that. I haven't gotten Civ 7 yet. I've just decided to wait and see. Because Civ 6, I never really got into Civ 6. Even after all the expansions, I mean, some of them did some really cool things, like the climate change thing with the volcanoes and flooding and whatever. I didn't mind it. And it did the sort of district expansion in a way that bothered me, kind of like Humankind did. Yeah. I think the thing that bothered me most about Humankind is it gives you so many of the infrastructures and districts, and it unlocks them so fast. It feels like the game is expecting you to build them faster than is physically possible. By the time you unlock colonies, which give you just instantly every infrastructure from level 1 and level 2 or something to that effect, your capital has like 45% of those infrastructures. It's absurd. The new city you build is more with freaking colonial guys on the other side of the map is more impressive than your capital. That's dumb. It just feels so dumb. The game feels like it's expecting you to build. If you build nothing but infrastructures, I think you still cannot get to the amount of infrastructures that a colonies city would have the instant you found a colony city when it becomes unlocked. And that assumes you build no military units and nothing else but infrastructures. Oh, it's so weird. And then you also have districts that take forever to build, but they're so important. You have to build them. So I don't know, man. It always feels like it's at war with itself. It doesn't have a coherent vision for what it wants the game to be. And I'm okay with not being able to build anything. That's not the point. I don't need to build every infrastructure in every city. But the fact that you get so much from a new one bothers the hell out of me. Because and it like, hey, you've unlocked this new thing. It's an upgrade for the infrastructure you haven't had time to build yet. I don't know. The game just feels like it needed to be longer. More turns or something for the amount of stuff that they packed into there. Sorry, let me get back to this game. And again, there's so many other things that I love about it. I love how it does the combat and it unfolds into a map. That's pretty cool. And, you know, I like that sort of prehistoric era, the nomad era that they added on in the middle. I liked the way that victory is done. So that's why it's so frustrating that there's these elements of it that really make me upset. And they, of course, they do an interface like no other company. Every single one. I still go back to Endless Space because it's still really good. But yeah, let me see. Where are we here? So how am I going to do this? Become severely wounded. I really don't care about Babylonia right now, but maybe adding extra rebels in their capital does seem good. I lose a little legitimacy, but I think I'm going to do that to slow them down for sure. Civ 1? No, I never played Civ 1. I may have played Civ 2, but I have no memories of that. The first memory that I have is playing Colonization. That was the first one of those Sid Meier games that I played back in like 95. And I definitely played Civ 3, and I definitely played Civ 4, obviously. I played a little bit of Alpha Centauri at the time, but I did not play it to death like so many people did. So this one we determined is going to come this way. We're building the Headhunter. Civ 1 refreshingly simple, huh? Yeah, okay, I can see that. All right, the worker's being built here. This is going to repair itself in one turn, so we don't have to worry too much about that. I need this to build a settler ASAP so that we can go and settle this city. Civ 1 still plays pretty well, huh? Aha, we've taken it. And we gained a promotion. Now, I'm expecting us to pivot and go up and take this before the Persians can get there, but they might already be there. We haven't seen it in a while. I'll be very disappointed if we can't get it first. If we can't, that might be the first place we try to take from them because their capital is probably going to be more well defended. So we're going to be able to promote to Guard or Focus for Crit Strike or Warden. Warden's good to attack from Urban, but that would be attacking across a river there is not great. Tough is not bad either for their, like, frontline unit. Oh, yeah, I'm really hyped for Endless Legend 2. And I hope Europa Universalis 5 is good, though with those Paradox games, I just kind of, just like with the Civ games, I'm like, yeah, I'll come back about 12 to 18 months after it releases and play it at that point, because it'll be way more enjoyable, both because they'll have patched it, added an expansion, and the mods will have improved it in a lot of ways. Like, man, when Civ 6 came out, its AI was so freaking dumb. Its AI was just god-awful. And that just prevented me from playing, even though I kind of liked the systems. There were some of the things on the systems that bothered me, but it was the AI that drove me crazy. Now, where the heck am I? Way over here. This is one of the things of What? What? Middle Kingdom? You just have a big cutout there where you can't go? It's just like, yeah, this is a no man's land, guy. Harry, what are you doing? You crazy. We're too far to harvest that, but hey, studying the Tenais River. Duchess Semperina excitedly asks if you have seen the river. She believes that studying the area's unique properties could aid her studies, and points out that it's important for a potential ruler to explore the reaches of the realm. So, hey, did we? No, we're not quite there yet. We've unlocked the ability to get exploration, though. Oh, so we already, rhetoric we already got. Let's do that now. Boom. Now, exploration doesn't give you a lot on the surface. Scouts move, there is a bonus to move them along neutral rivers. All bonuses, all units can benefit from that. But I find that neutral rivers just aren't always in the right places to help. Scouts moving on water can sometimes be very valuable, but I've got other spots that I can... So, like, Epics is clearly a great early game thing. If you're killing a bunch of barbarians, you just get extra culture and happiness out the wazoo. So, why would you pick this one? And I think it's because there are events tied to exploration. Oh, and I get the just for getting that ambition. That's good. And specifically, if one of your characters is exploring, then they get other bonuses while they're exploring. Hang on, what's the other one that we were looking at? Allow her to make her own way and new friends. I lose some discipline, but she gains charisma. I was hoping to have her go and explore. Oh, we can protect her and get her a little bit of extra wisdom. That's not bad. One can but imagine the endless wonders that await. Do you not hunger as I do to feel the earth underfoot? Let's give Rome's room to expand. Clear 6 tribal sites. Well, I don't think I'm going to get to 6. I'm looking to get to 3. The oligarch becomes exploring. Oh, yeah, let him go and look out and find stuff. I don't have a problem with that. Or we can make the champions mad and get some own discipline. We don't need discipline. Look at how much money we have. We have just an insane amount of money and more ways to get some if we wanted them. So, you can go ahead with this important expedition. No problems. Decimus the Schemer becomes exploring, and he'll trigger some exploration events that might help us. Yes, there is, in fact, a city way over here with a bunch of wheat. Like, there's nothing here. Game. You crazy? You want me to go all the way into the middle of nowhere? It's just a sneaky little city just hiding in the mountains. I'll take it. Fine. I have so many scouts, I haven't been able to do any missions. Although right now I'm trying to influence Braggadocious the Scythian. The late game, you get hundreds of orders and the game falls apart. Yeah, I can see that. I just finished upgrading my computer. The last time I did a full computer rebuild was 2017, so it was about time. And it is running like a dream. I've gone all AMD this time because they were better value overall. I just don't have the money to buy a frickin' NVIDIA graphics card right now. I don't want to either. $1,000? That's how much the whole computer used to cost. What? I know there's been inflation, but still, 1,000 is insane. Used to be you could buy a graphics card that would last you for 3 or 4 years for $400. You could get like a 1070 or something like that. 1080 even. And now you can't even buy the regular like 60 version for less than $400, I don't think. Because it's a supply issue. The stupid AI thing and the Bitcoin nonsense that is just causing graphics cards to get wasted. Just turning power into scams. Ugh. Don't get me started on that. All right. We got aristocracy. That means we get an ambassador. That means we can maybe become peaceful with the Scythians to make our court soldier happy. Have you played this dynamic world, dynamic units mod by any chance, Dr. Kane? Yeah, crypto and AI. Well, AI at least has some applications that are reasonable, but crypto is just... just used to scam people. It's so dumb. I wish they'd just ban it. I loved the premise of it when they were first talking about blockchain technology. Like the idea of just cutting out the middleman and allowing another way for transactions to be made, especially at very small amounts without having to have a middleman to add trust to the interaction, and not having like Visa and MasterCard take 4% of every damn transaction you make on the internet. That would have been an ideal world if it had ever come to fruition, which it definitely didn't. Ooh. The court minister is now power hungry. He's now known as the Viper. He's also 43. Or does he become strict? I don't think I want him to become strict and cruel. I think becoming intelligent... Oh, and corrupt? Oh, hell no. It replaces righteous? He loses righteous? But I liked righteous. Oh, and cruel is bad because he loses growth. I don't like this at all. The city needs growth. It doesn't have a lot of growth. All right, see you later, doctor. Let me know if you come back. Promote Oligarch Decimus the Schemer. Well, he's not currently a... He could be a governor if I wanted to make him a governor. These guys are just going to hang out here, but what are we going to give them? Guard, Focus, Warden, or Tough? Focus is always tempting because that extra crit strike can sometimes give you opportunities that you don't normally get. And yet, with so few units, having Tough to avoid situations where I might have accidentally done something, I'll take Tough. Now, I don't... 69, nice. I don't quite have enough to promote a different candidate to governor, but I plan to do it soon. Marcus can now be tutored by this guy. Excellent. And then there's another thing I can do before moving units. Oh, but I have to attack over here. And we still can't quite promote, but when we do, I want to give... I always like giving the conscript that's sitting around my champion capital the strike promotion, because he never really needs to worry about dying. He's just here to kill individual rebels that pop up, and the faster he can kill them, the better. So strike is usually a good go-to there. What was I thinking about? Now, can this guy build a thing in 2 years? I think he can. I think he can. I have to pay 50 to get to here, huh? Let's go to here. Oops. Control and then click. There we go. Because I want this border boost, but I want the border boost to trigger when I've actually got this third city up. And what was I just thinking about? The general... No, not that guy. Not the governor. Crap, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I did the tutor. Ah, ambassador. I got to promote somebody to become ambassador. Oh, that also costs civics, which I can't afford. Cram it. Stupid wars. Stupid costing me civics. All right, you're just going to chill until that shows up. We're going to keep exploring over here. Hey, I'm exploring over here. It would suck if my leader died and all my scouts just suddenly became visible and they're like, oops, we're not sneaky anymore. Didn't see that coming. Ooh, a Gallic tribe. Now is the time to strike. We're just going to war with all of them. There it is. Yeah, we're going to do it. I know my civics are tanking as a result, but I just want to take all the free legitimacy I can get. Legitimacy giving you huge bonuses to your family opinion as well as your order income. And if you get a lot from events, it can be really beneficial. It does stack up over time. Yes, it is. It is very close to Civ with Crusader Kings flavor, CS255. So you haven't played this at all, huh? Highly recommend. This is my favorite 4X right now. It's been out for 5 years, maybe officially, and then before that, it was like 2 years in early access, and they have not stopped improving the game. Every 2 weeks, they drop a patch into the test branch, and then like once a month, they take all the test patches that they've been adjusting and they drop it as a full patch, and you get new mechanics and new events. Like the most recent one, 15 new events. There's now well over 3,000 events that you probably won't see all of them if you play a couple hundred hours of the game, because they trigger only under certain conditions, etc., etc. The way that the characters interact with you, like for example, I've got my my husband here, right? King Consort Mamercus, and he has certain stats. Everybody has these stats because, and my character has these stats, and these stats give me the biggest boosts because I am the leader. My husband gets half the boosts that I get, and these are triangular, by the way. So even though this is +3 and this is plus 0.7, he's getting half of what I would get if I had wisdom of 1, basically. So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4 wisdom goes 1, 3, 6, 9, like actual gain. It's kind of triangular increases. Anyway, not quite linear. But the point is, because he's my husband, his stats matter about half as much as mine. The heir also matters about half as much as mine, I believe. Yes, he also matters. The second heir matters a little bit less. Maybe also half. I think there's only so many of the royals that can give you bonuses. But then courtiers are other important people, and they give you bonuses as well, equal maybe to about the half value. Yeah, because they get 4 wisdom, which is +2. And all of these characters' opinions of you affect this outcome, right? This character does not like me because his opinion of me is -20 right now. And that means that his yields, what he would normally give me for being a courtier, are reduced by 25%? 50%. So normally, with his 4 courage, he would be giving me like 5 training, but instead he's giving me 3 because he doesn't like me. Why? Because he's a Scythian and I'm at war with the Scythians, and I'm trying to get an ambassador to make peace with them so that he will give me more income, more yields. But because he's a courtier, he can also act as a governor, he can act as a general, and he can tutor my kid. Right now he's tutoring my son. If you don't tutor your kid, then they won't gain as many of these stats, and then your heir will be less good. It's such a cool little system. And by the way, the way that this game makes the non-warfare portion an interesting puzzle is genius, because when you play at the higher difficulties, your cities will be unhappy. For example, this city has currently a -6.9 happiness per turn, which means over the course of 12 turns, it's going to go from discontent level 1 to discontent level 2, because it needs 125 unhappiness to get there. And you can see discontent level 1, the only effect is that the champions, one of my families, is a little bit less happy with me. But discontent level 2 means they're even more unhappy and my yields go down. Discontent level 3, even more so. So if I don't deal with this happiness problem, it's going to make this family mad at me because this is their city. Not only is their city, it's their seat, their primary city. And it will also, when this discontent gets high enough and the family's opinion of me gets low enough, will start rebels spawning. So there are a bunch of different ways to make your family happier. Right now, you can see I founded their family seat. That's a temporary modifier that goes away over time. My legitimacy gives a bonus to all family happiness, and the legitimacy goes back down every time there's a succession change, and I have to build it back up. Actually, very similar to Crusader Kings. You can see this is the discontent that the city was giving us. They don't have a champion leader in a long time. That makes them angry. We don't have any counselors from their family. Technically, we don't have any counselors at all, but they don't seem to care. We have no ambassador or chancellor or spy mastery because we haven't unlocked those two and we haven't got enough civics to promote this one yet. But if we make somebody in their family an ambassador, they'll be like, hey, we have influence in this government and they'll like us more. If we give them luxuries, they'll like us more. If we get them specifically wine and dyes, then they'll like us a lot more. And the bigger their population that we have not put to work, the more unemployment in their cities, the more unhappiness they have. So we can also see that the champions have their own tendencies. Champions in particular like it if they have the largest military. If the most military units are from their city, they will have a plus 40. So that's one way to make them happy. The smallest military will make them angry, on the other hand. And certain laws will make them happy. Certain laws will make them angry. Each citadel makes them happy. And this is just one of the different families. Every time you settle a city, you have to choose between one of the 4 families available to that faction. So if we look at Rome, Rome has these 4 families: champions, landowners, patrons, and statesmen. Now, the landowners that Rome has is exactly the same as the landowners that Carthage has, the same exact bonuses. But Carthage doesn't have these 4 families. It has a different 4. I think it has landowners, riders, not statesmen, maybe traders. Yeah, it has traders and maybe patrons or maybe something else. But every single one of the factions has a different set of bonuses, a different set of shrines, a different set of unique units, and a different set of families. And so when you play, you will only ever play with 3 families at a time. In this game, I've chosen to go with champions, landowners, and patrons. Those are the first 3 that I'm founding, and then the statesmen disappear. They don't become an option for the rest of the game. So it can play very differently, even with the same faction, if I choose to play with statesmen, especially if I choose to found my capital as a statesman, because that's a very different type of gameplay. In that situation, I unlock decrees, which is a special project that you can't do unless you have statesmen in your empire, and it lets you get bonus legitimacy that's permanently added to your total legitimacy. It helps you keep the families happy, and a happy family gives you bonus growth, reduces corruption, reduces rebel chance, and gives you bonus damage to units from that family. So keeping families happy is great. So that's what the statesmen are really good at. They're also really good at generating civics. So you see, this all fits together so damn well, and you're constantly dealing with little problems here, and the Behind the Throne expansion adds this whole sort of subterfuge of, like, right now, I've got this guy, this governor, oligarch Severus the Viper. He is power hungry, which means he will maybe trigger events that will cause him to say, hey, everybody likes me. Stand aside and let me run things. And you'll kind of have the option to piss him off or make him Grand Vizier. And if you make him Grand Vizier, he is going to supercharge the output of some of your stuff, but he is going to soak up a bunch of your orders and take away your ability to choose what production comes out of your cities. So he will actually be pretty damn good at his job, but you'll take away control from you. And that can be negative, but if you piss him off, one of these power-hungry guys, they might just start a coup. They'll start a civil war, and I've fought those, and they're really flippin' cool. It's really cool how it's modeled, and that might happen while you're trying to keep Persia happy, because if the enemy doesn't like you, like right now Persia's at minus 74, they might go to war with you. You got to keep them happy. You give them trade routes, you give them, when events come up that triggers, you can give them bonus, things that make them like you. But you can also, and the reason that Persia doesn't like me, by the way, is that the leader doesn't like me. The leader has a minus 20 opinion of me. So that is factored directly into how much Persia likes me. Same with the families. If I want the champion family to like me more, I just have to get the oligarch of that family to like me more. So that means in an event, if an event pops up and it says, hey, Oligarch Decimus is at dinner with you, and he's having an argument with Oligarch Severus, and which one do you side with? Which family do you feel like pissing off right now? And sometimes if your character has like affable or gregarious or gracious or whatever, if they have a trait that might make them able to diffuse the situation and make everybody happy. Oh, it all interacts in such a great way. And the long and short of how you actually, what your goal is, the way you win, is either you get 10 of these ambitions to win an ambition victory, and they get progressively more and more difficult. My first one was to enact a specific law that you get unlocked really early in the game. And then the next one was clear a certain number of tribal sites. The next one, and these come up naturally based on the current game situation. There's a ton of different events that will trigger these ambitions. If I'm at war with Persia, maybe one of my my champion family, who's my warlike family, they'll come to me and say, hey, we need to prosecute this war. I want you to swear to me that you will kill 5 of these guys in your wars, and if you do that, we'll like you, and that's, boom, that becomes your ambition. And there's also ones that are like build a specific wonder, get this many resources. So there's more, peaceful ones too. And if you can get, and then the last one that you choose, and you usually choose, right? You can turn one down, right? If it said, hey, I want you to kill 5 Persian guys, or I want you to do this other thing, and you don't want to do either of those, you don't have to do it. And every time you turn down an ambition, you'll get another option 4 or 5 turns later. And so these ambitions are really cool, and they're a way to create sort of a narrative victory for your people, your succession, your family that led the whatever. And so as a result, that's a narrative victory that you can sort of talk about how great your empire was. But there's also, by default, a victory point system. And it's based on the size of the map, if I'm not mistaken, how many of the city sites there are. Because you can only build cities on these specific city sites, these urban areas that already have towns and stuff. And the way this mod works is it actually obfuscates how many victory points there are. Usually it tells you straight up how many victory points there are to win. But you can also just A, get lots of cities, B, develop those cities with a lot of culture, C, build a lot of wonders, D, get a lot of technology, or E, get a lot of opulent splendor from estates and stuff. So you can do all these things together to get victory points. Usually cities are going to be the main way to do it. You'll get like 10 or 11 cities, and they'll be at legendary level, so they'll each get 4 or 5 victory points worth. And you can get a minor city. If you get that inside, then you'll get an extra 2 victory points for that. Wonders each give you 1 or 2 victory points. So it's a very, very cool thing, the way that this all works together. The interface is great. Like I've been showing you, if you middle click on something, it'll pin it, so you can then hover over these things, and you can pin that and hover over that and pin that. The first time I saw that was in, what the heck was it called? At the Gates? The designer of Civ 4, was it Soren Johnson? No, it wasn't Soren Johnson. It was somebody else. I can't remember his name now. He At the Gates was a kind of meh game. It had a great idea, but it didn't work out. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just rambling. It's such a cool game. I love this game so much. And the way that the economy works is also beautiful. There's a difference between urban areas and rural areas. Rural areas are typically extractive type industries like mines and quarries and farms, and urban areas are typically things like fortresses and hamlets, like the towns in old school Civ 4. Anyway, I didn't even talk about the best part, the most clever, the most amazing part. Orders are how you can do X many orders per turn, and the number of orders you can get are dependent. Cities can produce a number of orders based on the number of citizens, population, whether they have a garrison or other upgrades in the city that give you extra orders. The difficulty gives you a certain number of orders. Your legitimacy gives you orders. 10% of your legitimacy becomes orders. So higher legitimacy not only makes your families like you more, but it gives you directly more orders over the course of the game. Schemer leader just gets more orders. Oh, per war. That's right. Every royal you get, in my case, I have enough royals, I guess, to get more orders. And you can also see various things here. The point is, everything you do in the game, virtually everything you do in the game, costs orders. So if I want to change the governor of this city, that costs orders. If I want to make somebody an ambassador, that costs orders. If I want to move this unit, it costs orders. And the further I move the unit, the more orders it costs. You can see the different blue lines. And you can see if I move it to the edge of this line, it costs 18. But as soon as I move it further, that's another order. So it can move 3 spaces for a single order. And it has 2 little dots here for fatigue. So it can move up to 2 orders worth. And some units can move further, like cavalry can obviously move further. I need to build this city. So I got to figure out where I want to build it. Oh, wow. This will get the ancient tomb right away. That's probably ideal. So we're going to try and build it right here. And we decided this was going to be a landowners, right? Yes, I made the mark to call it landowners. Anyway, if you have any questions while we're going, let me know. So I'm going to found this. The landowners family gives a bonus money for every farm we build. And there's some really good farmland up in this area over here. The lush areas around the river. And it also significantly reduces your civic output, but rural specialists cost less civics to produce. So it's landowners really good for building a lot of extractive industries, which we're definitely going to do here because we've got the mountains, so we can build a lot of quarries over here. We can build a lot of these fisheries, and we can build a lot of farms over here. It's going to be our farm and quarry center over here. And this also grabs additional border tiles because that's a bonus to the landowners, and they can expand with money too. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to found that right now. And that's my 3rd family. Oh, cognomens! I forgot about cognomens. They're so freaking cool. Okay, I just gained a new cognomen, and I qualified for it. I met the threshold, right? So if you look here, it says in order to get the cognomen the good. So I'm Atia the good now. You can get the great and the glorious, the ready, the conqueror, the general, like all these different types of titles, right? And they all have certain thresholds. So to become the good, this is a generic one. If you do well across a bunch of different things, then if, tribes contacted. Every tribe gives you 100. So I've contacted 3 of them. That give me 100 points towards this. Ambitions achieved. Every one gives you 12,000. Blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. You can see 30,000 was the limit. Now that I settled that last thing, it gave me enough to put me over the top. If my previous cognomen was less than 50, then I gain a new one. So if there's another cognomen out there that I qualify for that's 55 or 58 or 60 or whatever, when I qualify for that one, it'll replace the good. So it's just such a clever system. And when your brand new heir Marcus rises to the throne after your previous leader dies, they get the cognomen the new, which is, instead of being plus 50 legitimacy, it's like minus 10. So it's often difficult to ward off those power-hungry viziers when you have a succession change like that. You got to be careful. Anyway, we got another event. Prince Marcus notices a lame mongrel begging for scraps. He takes the creature into his care and nurses it back to health. From that point forward, the creature never leaves Marcus's side. So he becomes a dog owner. That is just a trait that will trigger future events. And now I get to choose what particular bonuses he gets from this relationship with his dog. Does he become compassionate? It gives him a strength, which he can only have 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses. Or he can become strict, which, and you'll notice this is my heir, so I have to pay attention to the different bonuses that the leader will give. So if we look here, strict means that all cities, new ranged and militia units start with a plus 10% bonus ability. That's kind of cool. As a governor, he can hurry units with orders, so he can basically cause them to build faster in the cities. Oh, and how the cities build is so brilliant. I want to talk about that later. I like compassionate, though. Compassionate is included in honorable. This category, in order to be considered honorable, you have to be either righteous or gracious or loyal or compassionate or any combination of those. But then if you get an event where being honorable is beneficial, you can choose a special option in that event because you're honorable. Of course, being honorable, being compassionate means that cruel characters and ruthless characters don't like you much. But it gives you extra charisma and extra discipline. I don't want him to be ruthless. I don't know why it always gives you that option. I can't see a benefit to being ruthless. Yeah, you're actually getting 2 courage. So I guess if you're really trying to max out your courage, then becoming ruthless would be good. And in fact, it would max out my courage a lot. But I think I'd still rather gain a strength here. Thracians approach us asking for a truce. Do we approve the terms? Thracians. I mean, I do need more civics production. And every war I have is draining my civics and giving me bonus to my training and other things. So I'm going to go ahead and let this truce happen. And your character levels up. You saw one of the options there was just to get XP. And when your character levels up, you'll get an event that says, hey, do you gain courage? Do you gain discipline? Or maybe you gain the Highlander trait or something else. It's all triggered in there. And then you've got the distinction between barbarians who are all for themselves. There was a barbarian city here. There's a barbarian city here. If I fight, you're always at war with barbarians. Everybody's at war with barbarians. So I came down and fought the barbarians. But then you have tribes like the Thracians. If I go to war with this Thracian, I go to war with all Thracians. I don't know where the other Thracians are. Here's a Scythian. There's a Scythian. Everywhere a Scythian, all over the place. So those are like minor enemies that you'll eventually kind of steamroll over after the early game. And then you've got the major powers: Carthage, Rome, Persia, Hatti, etc., Egypt. So that's how you sort of slowly expand into these different difficulty curves, which is just brilliant. But let's talk about how the cities work. The cities work so brilliantly. The biggest problem in any 4X game is production is the king resource. Everything is production. Production does everything. So anything that boosts production boosts everything else you can do. Do you want more money? Get more production, because that will let you build more hamlets or more banks or whatever the building is in Civ that lets you build more, that lets you get more money. Oh, and did you want more science? Well, more production lets you build libraries faster. So and academies and universities and whatever. So production is always the thing to build first before anything else. And that makes it lame and boring. It's a problem in almost every 4X game I can possibly think of, more so some than others. This one solves it in a brilliant way. There are 3 different types of resources produced by your city: growth, training, and civics. And each one produces a different thing. Do you want to max out your growth so that your city can produce workers, scouts, militia, and settlers faster, and to produce citizens faster that you can slot in to become specialists? You can do that. You can build a lot of farms, but building those farms doesn't also make you faster at training military units. I'm going to go ahead and turn down some of these extra audio elements, the effects volume a little bit here, because that's just annoying in the background. And then, hey, do you want to max out your training? Build your barracks, get a governor in there that boosts training production. Right now, my governor actually reduces my training production because his courage is -5. I put him in here because I was hoping I didn't have to fight anybody, and now he's stuck, and I don't have the civics to get rid of him just yet. Also, he's power hungry, so he's going to get pissed if I take him out of that governor position. Ay, ay, ay. But anyway, training builds your military units. Civics builds your specialists, as well as projects like walls, treasury, festivals, council. And so there isn't one production thing to build. You have to either specialize in one of these or balance it out, and it's just so smart. I cannot... Anyway. There's a couple of military units that take growth, like militia and headhunter. They're not nearly as good as the military units you can build with training, but still. And what is this? Gold lets you hurry specialists with money. That's right. So, requires holy war and state religion. Huh. Unlocks precious resource. Can hurry specialists with money. Why don't I have the ability to do that? I wonder. Oh, I can hurry specialists with money, not units. Which is why it's weird that it's in the wrong place then. I'm going to have to mention that to Harry. I'm going to make a little note here. I'm going to see if that's a thing that was accidental or if it's a limitation on the mod. Okay, let's continue and just actually keep going. I'm sorry, I'm stalling because I just like gushing about this game. So good. You cannot build something in every category. You're only building one thing at a time. But right now I'm building a headhunter. That's taking all of my growth, which means I'm not growing the population of this city, right? You can see it's at 0 and it's not growing at all. because I've been building settlers and workers here since the beginning of the game, so I don't have any output. I'm building a headhunter because I need a military unit, but my governor is so bad at training that it's going to take 12 years to build a warrior. Good news is I've got this city here, which is the champion city, and they have a bonus to their training production as soon as I build a barracks, and for every festival I do. So their training production is generally better than other training. And in fact, I kind of want to do a festival just to get that +1 training. It also gives you happiness and growth and stuff too. So maybe putting that in this list ain't too bad, but I also need a settler. Ugh, I have too many things to build right now. But it's only turn 19. So yeah, that kind of tracks. So my goal is to turn this into a training powerhouse that is going to pump out my military units. And this one is going to pump out lots of money because I had gold and silver and more silver. And I've got these coastal tiles I can put a harbor on. And I've got a hamlet here that's going to help out. So this is going to be a money-making city. This one is going to be focused on training. And it's also got elephants and it's also got horses, which means that I'm going to be able to build war elephants and I'm going to build horse units here with no problem. This one has a ton of barley around it. It's going to be a brilliant farming location. So tons and tons of food coming in from there. Support a large population across the empire. This one's also going to be food, but I probably have to put at least some training here. Like I'll put a barracks here to make sure that if in the middle of a war, I can still pump out units from every city. It's just that this one's going to be focused on it the most. Speaking of, the downside of the champions here is that they spawn these damn rebels, so I'm going to have to fight them off. I've got to take a drink after that speech, after that rant. And these workers, oh, the workers thing is smart. Every worker steals an order every turn. So this guy that's been working on building the shrine for the last couple of turns, at the beginning of the turn, I have -1 because of improvement construction. So the more workers you have, the less orders you have. Do you know what that means? That means if you're doing a lot of expansion on your economy, your military can't move and fight. If you go to war, it often means that all your workers stop improving your land. Your economy stagnates because wars are expensive. And that, you don't need to do any of this war weariness, extra mechanical stuff on top of it. That right there means if you go to war with somebody and it's costing you a lot of orders to move all your military units around, then it automatically is negatively impacting the other things you want to do by growing your economy, settling other lands, improving your territory, building wonders. All that stuff falls to the wayside in lieu of the war. And that is just a natural, like, swords to plowshares, plowshares to swords thing. That is so brilliant. And it's just, I can't even. And now my headphones running out of juice because I'm talking too much. Hold on. All right, there we go. Okay. So, come on. There we go. Let's continue. What's my focus now? I've lost control of it. This guy here is going to heal, and I'm going to move him before he heals because I want to come up here and try to take that barbarian camp before Persia does, but I don't think I'm going to get there. I got to keep him inside the borders, and he's healing more than normal because of his herbalist trait. I've already attacked with that guy. The headhunter's coming out soon. I can send him out to help with the barbarians. My leader is currently, by the way, leading this barbarian. So all of the different bonuses like Highlander and Steadfast that my leader provides is being provided to this unit. And my leader's traits are improving the warrior's abilities. So my 2 wisdom is giving the warrior a 6% crit chance. My 3 charisma is giving them 20% extra defense. My -2 courage is actually lowering their attack by 3%. My discipline is giving them 20 extra XP per year. So that's one thing that you can do with your units, with your different leader types. The other thing you can do is make them governors. I can't put a governor into Arrhenium until I get a garrison. So that's going to be on my list. But what do we do here? I think I need a worker first and foremost to start getting all this extra food. You can see I've got +12 food right now, which is pretty good. But as soon as these cities start growing, I'm going to need a lot more food. And as soon as I start building more military units, the upkeep on those military units means I'm going to need more food. So that's going to be a worker first, and then we'll figure it out from there. I already made a plan for this. Do we want more food or money? Food would be good, but this gets food and money. Let's go there. And all these pins, by the way, these are mine. I pinned these in place and chose what I wanted to build, where I wanted to build it. Okay, and now my scouts have to start exploring. Or do I want to make somebody happier? The champions, I've never actually... So he's plus 57. He likes me a lot, but I want to make him like me more. Why can't... is he exploring? He is exploring. That's why I can't influence him. Oh, no. This guy is influenced by me, so I can't do much more there. You know what? Oh, no. The Queen of Carthage... well, Carthage in general doesn't like me because we're too close, but I need them to like me, so we're going to go ahead and influence her. We currently have a national peace. I don't want to lose that. Because there's always a mission your leader could potentially go on. There's always missions your ambassador could potentially go on. I'm at 91. Do I want to change that guy here? She doesn't like me much because she's intolerant and I'm gracious. So I don't want to put her in charge of a governorship because her intolerantness is going to lower... Ooh, but this diplomat guy... He would be pretty good. Oh, but he's terrible with finances. He's corrupt. Look at this freaking corruption. He's going to cost me 30 ducats a turn. Ugh. Well, Severus is already corrupt. I need a better leader pool for this. Let's just do some more exploration. Found some resources. I'm using some mods, by the way, as well as a non-standard map. The base game is beautiful. It's perfect as it is. And the expansions that add a bunch of cool stuff to it are also really worth it. The village has only recently been sacked. We discover a band of survivors huddled in its ruin. This is a goody hut, so to speak. These destitute refugees seem eager to abandon the wreckage of their old lives and join our nation. Ooh. Gain a worker and slums. Or gain a scout. I definitely want the worker and slums. But I want to tell the game where to put those slums. So... First off, I want to rename this town. I'm going to call it Olfactory, because it's definitely smelling like fish, right? I think that's clear. And this here is going to be pumping out military units, but it's also got elephants. Call it Hamble. I don't know why. I like to give them names that'll help me remember them based on the geography of where they are. Because, oh yeah, that one's Hamble. That's over there. Because sometimes I'm like, Arrhenium. Where the hell's Arrhenium? I can't remember that. Anyway. Now, I can choose how I'm going to set this up. So this is going to be a pasture for those horses, definitely. This is going to be a camp. So I'm just planning. These pins are helping me plan. These are obviously going to be nets. Now, I don't know if I want to do nets in threes like this, because each adjacent net reduces the total output by 40%. But it gets plus 60% per adjacent harbor. So if we were to put a harbor here and a harbor here, now we're going to boost those back up to make them worthwhile. Meanwhile, we're definitely going to have nets here. And we can put another harbor. Harbors don't go next to each other, though. That's a no-no. So we'll put another harbor here. And then we've got more nets over here, which I won't get to for a long time, I'm sure. And maybe a harbor here. I don't know. I think a harbor has to be on coast, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it requires coastal water, so I couldn't put it here. This is the only option. Now, is there a place like... Yeah, how about here? We're going to put a market and a grocer, because these get bonuses for being next to harbors. And then here we can put a fair. So that's the market line. Market, then grocer, then fair can all be built after a time. We're probably going to want to build a garrison somewhere. Oh, I know I'm going to want to build a granary here in the arid territory, because around that we're going to build farms. Because granaries give plus 30% for all adjacent farms. Is it 30 now? I thought it was 40 before. Has he given... I think Harry has been weakening this on me. Here, I might not want to build a farm. I think I want to build a quarry here, because we don't have a lot of good spots for quarries. So this is adjacent to mountains. Every mountain is adjacent to is a plus 40%. So this is plus 80% right here. This is plus 80% right here. This is plus another 80%. Quarries have a penalty when they're next to each other. In this mod. This mod makes the adjacency bonuses a little bit more precarious, a little bit more, I don't know what to say, a little more complex overall. I have started to internalize those things, but I understand why some people have not. I mean, I want a quarry way over here, because this is on arid terrain, and it's adjacent to new markets. That would be a grand quarry. This is a hill, so we definitely want to mine there. Mines and quarries are like being next to each other. Farms don't like mines next to them. It's very bad. I really think I'm just going to crank out farms over here. Oops, that's a mine. That's not what I want. I want farm, 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 because pastures give bonuses to farms, and farms on these, what do they call them? Lush terrain gives plus 40% output, and landowners give $5 extra per farm, so that seems good. But now I'm going to need spots over here. Let's put the garrison here. We do need a garrison in everything. And what do we put here? Probably in... you know what? We'll leave that one open. Oh, we'll put the barracks there. That will give us extra training. We're going to need it. And then... we can continue along the coast, but boy, we're not going to have a lot of room for urban stuff. But these are all so much money that I really want to add all the fairs and stuff there. There's also a really nice little system up here for the resources where you can buy and sell. Right now, iron is selling for 6 points, or buying costing 6.6. But actually, trees sell for the most. Wood is 7.6, and that's represented by what collectively all the factions are buying and selling. Right now, trees are being bought a lot, so their price has gone way up. Whereas food is probably being sold a lot, so their prices aren't going up very high. And if I ever have a negative, like my income here is -3, then that means right now I have 151, so I can cover my negative income. But if that was down to 0 and I still had a negative, it would force me to buy it every turn, which would make it more expensive every turn until I dealt with that deficit. The economy is also brilliant. Okay. So I think I've got a good setup over here. I kind of want to build more farms along these rivers. I don't know if that's smart. It only leaves me one extra space to maybe put another urban building, like an Odeon or a hamlet. We'll put an Odeon there for now. If I really wanted to, I can put like Odeons and hamlets up here. In fact, that's really what I should do. Yeah. Let's get that planned out right now. Odeon, hamlet, another Odeon, and then also baths. Baths will work well with Odeons. And another hamlet here. Or maybe baths. Or maybe a watermill. I just don't know. Oh, that would be better. Yeah, watermill right there. Cold baths here. And warm baths here? Yeah, actually, that's what we want. Warm baths there. Because then the watermill boosts both of the baths. The baths both boost the Odeon. And the Odeon boosts the hamlet. And we'll put another Odeon over here. There's 3 Odeons that you can have. 1, 2... Oh, I don't have a third Odeon. Well, we'll put it here. Nope, not a hamlet. Odeon. Alright, now we've got 3 Odeons, and we'll put a hamlet right here, because the hamlet benefits from being adjacent to Odeons. And, yeah. that is a new little urban area that we can branch off of. And the only reason we can do that is because Odeons and hamlets create their own urban terrain. So you don't need to have them connected to your urban area. Okay. What's this event? Oh, yeah. I need to tell them where to put the slums. That's what this is all about. Was figuring out where to put the slums. Crap. There's nowhere here I want to put the slums. I guess I'd put it here instead. No. And is it... It's not listed here. I think I just put it improvement. Now, because I've told it there, the event is going to put it there. Yeah, I wish I could... Ooh. Can I buy... No, I already healed him. It's too late. We're just going to go ahead and do this. What is this? Where does this go? It's just a little mountain pass. All right, so we've made the slums here. Slums kind of suck because they increase your rebel chance, but they do reduce the chance to produce the time to produce militias, but they also develop into a free hamlet in 35 years. And they give you a little bit of money. So I don't hate it. Luckily, the landowners seem to like us. So that's minus 5% rebel chance to this plus 10% rebel chance. So that's that. But we did get our worker. And we could build a garrison right away, actually. And that would give us a potential governor. What is more important? Let's get the growth first. Oh, we're out of orders? Ah, crap. I could turn training into orders, but I really don't want to right now. Okay, and the other thing I like to do is name my workers after my cities, so that I remember what they're supposed to do. Next. And then my second worker here, he's just going to be named patrons, because workers also have a specific family. You can see this one is blue, whereas this worker down here is round and purple. So if I have this purple worker from the landowner's family working in Roma, then his improvement time takes 1 extra turn for building all improvements. So you do want to match them up as best you can. What I'll need to do real soon... Actually, I don't need to connect them. Look, they're already connected. They're connected because the trade route extends along the water here, and up rivers, and the trade network, I should say. So they're connected, but this is disconnected. So I need to get some roads and build those back to the capital in order for that to be a connected city, which means I need more workers. Working on it. Let's end the turn. 19 turns in. There's so much to do every turn that even though the game only covers about 150 turns on average, maybe a little less depending, it feels just as long as like a full 300 or 400 or 500 turn game of Civ, because there's so much to do. I got to spend 22 orders. So this guy finished the Shrine of Bologna, which gives us extra training. Brilliant. And it boosts the output of the adjacent hamlet boosts the output of the shrine, which is awesome. I can't build Odeons yet. We don't have drama. That's coming up soon. We're going to look at that right now. I have chosen drama and marked that I want to have it next. I don't need lumber mill. I have lots of lumber right now. I think the other little gimmick, you'll notice there's no in-game music until you unlock drama. The game music doesn't play. There's a mod that changes that for you, but I just love that little touch. When you research drama, it starts the music. Here, I decided I wanted to get more nets to get the growth bonus immediately. And these guys... Ooh, our city expanded, so we can now grab this silver and build a mine on it. That's a lot of extra money. Courtiers are costing us a bit. All right, these guys need to heal. before they leave the area. They're also slowly losing their current morale to go back down towards the military discipline. What's funny? The fact that we can get the fish guy here. Oh yeah, I got to deal with these rebels. But first, my conscript can get a promotion. As I said, this conscript is going to be putting down rebels because the champion's family seat always just seems to have rebels. It's just one of the things that you deal with as a downside for their warlike nature. And so I can either get 15% flat bonus to their damage or a 20% chance to crit strike and do double damage. And it's actually not 15% bonus to their damage. It's 50% bonus to their strength. And the damage you deal is based on the differential between your strengths. Tough is also good. Fierce is also good. That's a 10% bonus to damage and defense. But I think strike is the one I like the most. It's more consistent. So we're attacking here. You can see the rebels are of the same family, which costs me a little bit here. Oh, why does that keep happening? There we go. So that cost me a little bit. The fact that I'm a militia unit fighting in my own national territory gives me a bonus. Champions fighting in their own territory gives a bonus. The strike promotion and the combat promotion both give me bonuses. So my total strength is 7.5. Their defense strength is 5, which means they're going to take 10 and I'm going to take 2. The bigger that differential is, the more lopsided those combats are. Although they are countering me to do 2 damage back because they're vigilant. That's right. Their morale is high enough that they get to do an extra damage back to me. See, when units attack in this, they don't deal equal damage back. I'm dealing 5, and they're dealing 1 by default. And if they attacked me, they would deal, I don't know, 3, and I would deal 1 by default. Because melee units deal 1 back, range units don't at all deal any damage back. That's one of the things that makes them vulnerable. Attacking them is basically free. And then certain promotions give you additional counterattack damage. Like you can see here, he's going to counter for 2 instead of 1. And if you're fortified, you get to attack at full strength. So that's kind of cool. Oh, the music not playing until you get drama is kind of fun. Yeah. Wow. This city expanded and grabbed all the way up there, which kind of sucks because now I'm going to have this city buy that out. But that's okay. Because I want the landowners to have the farmland for their bonuses. Where the hell are we? We can't harvest that. Oh, and the other thing that's just so nice. Hey, did you not want to spend that order? Hey, Control Z, he's back, buddy. Oh, did you produce the wrong thing? Just Control Z. It saves all your orders and you never have to like say, oh no, I hate that. Now, you can game it a little bit and go, oh, I just revealed all this territory and now I can just undo it because I know what it is. Just don't hit the undo button if you reveal territory. It's fine. The designers are like, the advantages of having this undo button are way more valuable than the slightly gamey way that you can kind of reveal territory and then hide it again. Anyway, we found a new tribe. They report frequent meetings with the Vandals and other tribes. An alliance against us might be forming. Ooh, we would gain +1 discipline, which gives extra... And this is so good, too. It doesn't just say, hey, +1 discipline. It says the effect of this will be to also gain this much money and have the warrior gain this much extra XP per year. And it also gives me the information that normally... this choice would give me the steadfast trait, but because I already have the steadfast trait, I still get something out of it. So we could send them money to make them like us, or we could do nothing and watch. So we're this would cost us 210 training, and the global training is used to pay for upgrading your units by giving them promotions, and to appoint governors. I don't think I want. I think I'm just going to have my leader just get an extra 20 XP, which is going to level her up, actually. Hey, there we go. So now I can give myself more courage, or more charisma, or more wisdom. It might be... I hate having this little courage. I need more training income, so I'm going to go ahead and give myself more courage. And there's the general. That's me. And now I'm going to... Oh, I healed this turn, so I can't do anything else with them. So let's see what else we can do. I can appoint an ambassador. Finally, because I have enough civics to do it. So who do I want to be my ambassador? Certain... Hey, doctor. I'm just explaining the entire game to CS255. Each character has an archetype. So my leader is a schemer. Schemers can normally serve as generals, agents when you unlock spy masters, or spy masters themselves. As a general, they are hidden when they're in trees. So you can sneak up on an enemy. Unless you're right next to them, they won't know you're there, and they can't attack you. It's good for hiding from barbarians and getting ready to attack them there. However, a schemer that's a leader can use legitimacy to buy extra orders, and they can also get one extra order per year per war, which can be very valuable. I tell you what, in the middle of a war, you almost certainly will run out of orders, and it becomes difficult to prioritize. What do you want to do with your orders? My scouts are also invisible, which is why I went to war with like every tribe. Normally, you don't want to go to war with the Gauls and the Vandals and the Thracians and the Scythians, because one of the big problems is they kill all your scouts. You'll run into them as you're going and exploring, and they'll just kill your scouts. Even if they don't kill your scouts, they'll damage your scouts, and you got to run your scouts all the way back to friendly territory, let them heal for a little bit, and then send them all the way back out. It means that you're not exploring as effectively, and every one of these landmarks that you explore first gives you extra legitimacy. Every landmark that you explore after another one of the players, the Romes, the Carthages, the Persians, whatever, then you only get one extra legitimacy. So you want to be the first one to find all of these little landmarks. Here's a plain, here's a taiga, here's a mountain range, here's a forest, or whatever, right? So you want to send your scouts out to find not only your possible expansion routes, but also these little landmark spots that get rewarded for explore. Oh, and those little goodie huts that I've been finding all over the map so far. Those are always good events. So you want to find those too. And if you are a schemer, then all your scouts are permanently invisible. Now, scouts are normally invisible in trees, but you can't always end your turn in trees. So usually the barbarians, the red guys, and the tribes you're at war with will just cull your scouts down. You have to build new ones or send them all the way back to heal up in your territory, but not with schemer leaders. So I've gone to war with all of them, because when you go to war, you get a legitimacy boost. You can see I've got plus 40 legitimacy from events, and 18 of those is unafraid of tribes. So I'm getting an extra 2 orders a turn, basically, because I went to war with all the tribes, and I'm getting an extra 18 legitimacy added into the family's opinion modifier of me. So that's great. Those add up. Anyway, I got to choose an ambassador, and it shows you these are the characters that are available for ambassador, and partly it's due to their archetype. See, it says here a commander can serve as a general or as an ambassador, but it can't serve as a governor. There are exceptions made. Courtiers can basically serve as anything regardless of their archetype, like governors or generals, I believe, specifically. And the leader and the heirs, I think... Actually, the heirs might be restricted, but I know the leader can actually be anything. So even though Schemer normally can't be a governor, I could have my leader be a governor if I wanted to. Anyway... yeah, so I'm choosing between these guys here. Now, we know that whichever one of these families, either champions or patrons, that I put here will be happier. And I think I want my champions to be very happy because their military units will be stronger if I do. So I'm going to put Noyes the Impulsive here. Now, his stats, wisdom gives extra culture per city. Compassion gives extra opinion from foreign nations like Carthage and Babylonia. His courage gives extra opinion from tribes, and his discipline gives a reduction in religious opinion. We don't have any religions yet. We just barely founded Roman paganism, so that just showed up. And comfortable. Oh, that's the difficulty level. Okay. But anyway, we're going to choose him to be our ambassador. And now the ambassador can give you those bonuses, right? Number 1, the ambassador gives you these things based on their stats. Number 2, I can send them on missions, like trying to make peace with the Scythians. Can I do that? Tribal peace. No, tribal truce with the Scythians. Mostly just to make this guy like me more, so that tutoring won't cost me as much. It costs me so much more money to have him tutor my kid because he's making me pay the asshole tax. What's the deal with this mod? Okay, so bunch of different pieces. The best way I can explain it, if you are familiar with the way that the base game improvements adjacencies work, you'll remember that being adjacent to a mountain gives your quarries plus like 40% output, right? And so what happens if I build a city here in the base game, I will build an entire set of quarries all along this mountain range. Quarry. And it's the same every game. Now, arid is even better. So if I had a city over here, it would be very good at producing quarry. What this mod does is it says that is kind of boring. Yeah, it makes sense, but it's boring. So what do? Well, what Harry has done is he said, well, quarries, yeah, they still give you bonuses for being adjacent to a mountain. Little less for a volcano. Volcanoes are better for food. I think that's a change from the base. Arid is still good, but not quite as good as the base. But guess what? Every mine adjacent to a quarry gives you a bonus because while they're mining for iron, they find rocks. And they say, hey, here, have these rocks. So you have more stone output from your quarries if there are adjacent mines. And by the way, quarries next to each other, bad. So putting a line of quarries along a thing is no longer a thing. You can't just put them all along the wall. You have to find more interesting ways to do it. So, for example, I'm going to put mine, quarry, because this is a nice little ridge. So mine. And then I'm going to put quarries nestled into the little areas where the mines are, because that way I'll get to take advantage of the 20% per adjacent mine. Although the Lorien mine should also be factored in, but it's not for some reason. Anyway, so that allows you to come up with more interesting. Do I want to put like a quarry here because it will benefit from having mines completely surrounding it and boosting it by 140%, right? Six mines, 20% each. 106, yeah, 120%. Sorry. 120. Anyway, or I could put a windmill in the center and boost all the output of the iron mines by 50% instead. So you got a couple of different options there. That's an example of what he's done with the adjacencies to make it a much more fundamentally interesting puzzle. The other thing that comes to mind is that the families all have downsides. So generally speaking, I think they are mostly similar to the base game families. But for example, the Patrons family has plus 25% improvement costs. It costs more to build improvements around the Patrons families. But in exchange, you get all these other good things. Similarly, the champions are really good at pumping out new units, but their family seat starts producing rebels against you from the beginning of the game that you have to deal with. Lucky for you, the family seat also grants you a conscript, which is a fairly strong unit for this early in the game to help deal with those rebels. But it's still a thing to worry about. And the landowners, they have half the normal civics output at base, but their rural specialists cost half as much. So their rural specialists still build just as fast. And if you get any civics improvements to your city, like a quarry with a, not a miner, what do they call that? Stonecutter, they give extra civics, then that's just a significant improvement to your rural specialist production time. So all the families have a tiny drawback in some place in order to make them better in other ways. Other things that the mod does that come to mind. This is a set of mods, by the way. What I've been describing are the dynamic world differences. Those are the ones to the economy. There's also a ton of extra events that he's added in, and he's done it all with really good restraint to focus on not adding a ton of units just cause, but to have them fill a specific niche. For example, here's a heavy footman. You can get it from the beginning of the game if you have ore nearby, the resource ore, not just regular mine, but one of the resources that you find on the map. And it costs you quite a lot, but it's stronger by 25% than a regular warrior, and it has a lower fatigue limit. So it's very strong for this early in the game, and it starts with the anti-ranged benefit, which means I think it takes less damage. Yeah, way less damage from like skirmishers that the barbarians have. But it's more costly than the warrior by like a lot in terms of iron. You have to have ore to get it, and it's sort of a unique unit, so your production increases cost every time you build it. So it's kind of a cool, unique unit. If you happen to start the game near ore, that's awesome. So this is an example of one of the ones that he's added. Royal Guard, I think, is another one added by his mod. This one is buildable without ore, but you have to build it in the capital, and it's very cheap, and it starts with the Warden trait, but its fatigue limit is very low. If you want to use this thing to go fight tribes, you're going to be waiting a long time while it marches around to try to get places. It just doesn't move as fast as a regular warrior. It just has a lower fatigue limit. So that's also kind of cool. And these also get very expensive when you build them. So you can build tons of warriors, but you're limited to how many of these guys you can get, and they have their drawbacks. Other guys that get added because of this, I don't remember if Headhunter is one of his. I think it might be, actually. It starts with Recruiter that lets you gain an enlist chance when you attack an enemy and kill it. And it requires you to have gold resource nearby. Another example, what we saw earlier, Heavy Spearman is like an improved version of a Spearman that has 40 HP. It doubles the normal amount of HP, but again, it's very slow. And it has a huge upkeep cost compared to a regular unit. So this is like a double strength unit that costs a lot. But the Heavy Spearman comes much later in the thing. What does it come in? Portcullis, so it's way over here somewhere. So here's Heavy Spearman. And there's like a Heavy Footman out here somewhere as well. Here's the Mountaineer. This is a new unit added by Dynamic Units. And it starts with the Highlander trait, but the cool thing that it can do is that it's allowed to stand on mountains, and while it's there, other units can walk onto it. So it can act as a guide to move them through a thin mountain range. So for example, if this mountain range here was between me and an opponent, I could get a pair of Mountaineers and use them to cross with regular units to attack them from an unexpected direction. Very cool. By the way, the AI, he has taught how to use all of these things, generally speaking. Other things that he added. I'm trying to remember any other units. Oh, Merchant Outpost. There's a whole bunch of buildings that he added that are very clever, I think. So, for example, all the regular buildings stop here with estates. From this point on, all of these buildings down here, I believe, were added by Dynamic World. Building a warrior monastery allows you to unlock warrior monks, which I think are in the base game as an event unit that you get. I can't remember for sure. But this monastery creates one every 12 years and unlocks the ability to build them, but you can only do it in the holy city that happens to have monasticism. Again, also has a pretty big upkeep cost. Very focused on balance and filling a niche. A Grand Palace lets you change your capital if you want. It also gives you 2 victory points. Requires 12 active laws, so good luck getting that early. And then a Watchtower and an Archer Tower are 2 different versions of things you can use to build physical things on the map that can still fight. So this will build a physical, not a physical, but a unit on top of itself that's fully stationary, can't move, only defend. And the Watchtower lets you give you a lot of vision. The Archer Tower is stronger and better to defend, to actually fight with. Merchant Outposts, if you recall, minor cities like this were only attainable in the base game when your city grew so much that it overlapped with an existing city site, absorbing it without actually settling the city there. So if this city here just keeps expanding to capture this city site, it will turn into a minor city. And minor cities have the benefit of giving you +2 victory points, and they can be shopkeepers and they give little other bonuses, but the 2 victory points is the biggest thing. And he has given you a way to build minor cities, but they start as merchant outposts with massively reduce your growth because you have to turn them into a merchant outpost. So you got to grow them into a minor city, which means they need to spend X many turns growing, and then they'll eventually turn into a minor city, at which point they stop penalizing you with growth, and now it's only food and stone. But you then get lots of money, lots of civics, and victory points. And you can only build one of these per city. And it requires you to have a river. They won't build the merchant outpost anywhere other than a river. So there's another example. Taverns give you a way to get luxuries if you didn't already have one, but it does give you unhappiness, which can be a pain. Foreign fighter hubs are kind of cool. You get a random tier 1 unique unit every 12 turns, but it increases your rebel chance and it costs a lot of upkeep. Iron Forge is one that I have planned to build here because it gives training per mine that's built around it. That's kind of cool. Recruitment Camp allows you to convert growth into training. So if you have a city with lots of growth from barley and farms and fish or whatever, I think this will let you do. Ooh. Kind of strongly considering building that over here now that I think about it. This would be good over here because I'm going to have so much damn growth from all these nets and farms. And farmers, rather. Okay. So, there we go. So that's more of Dynamic World as it adds these buildings. But again, with restraint. They all have a reason for being where they are. Other things added by this mod pack, because again, they're all different mods. I have them listed in the YouTube channel here, but you're watching on Twitch, so you can't see that. It's called Dynamic World, Dynamic Units, Dynamic Battlefield, which I haven't shown off too much yet. Morale is another one in the same thing, and the morale system is very cool because it causes the units to gain these effects that are based on how strong their morale is. So if their morale is really low, their attack strength is really low. They actually lose HP every year, and they retreat when they're attacked. Wavering units retreat when attacked and have some low. Steady units get a bonus to their defense. The vigilant units actually counterattack at an extra damage to the enemy. Confident units get a crit strike. All of this is getting good until you get to arrogant, and now you trade crit strike for cleave. Crit strike is always useful. Well, when it triggers anyway. But cleave might not be useful if you're only fighting a single enemy. And unhinged means that you can cleave in a circle, but your chance to enlist the enemy goes away, and your defense goes down 30%. So they basically get too impetuous if your morale gets too high. And morale comes from a number of different places, and unit levels, family-friendly, generals. Warriors, by default, just have higher military discipline than others, and when the turn triggers, the morale returns towards the discipline, whatever it is. So if it's below discipline, it goes up as long as you're in friendly territory. And if it's above discipline, it goes down no matter where you are. So that's the morale system, generally speaking. When you kill a unit that has low morale, it has a chance to enlist depending on how high your morale is. And when you kill an enemy unit, units around it lose morale. When your units take damage, and then they lose morale. It's a very clever little system that adds more dynamism to the game. So hopefully that answers most of your questions. I'm just talking these days. Next unit. Let's do some more exploring. Oh, he's out. Next unit. I'm also playing on the Middle Kingdom map, which is why it's possible to have just minor cities chilling out in the world. It will place things like ancient tombs out on the map. This ancient tomb is providing me an extra 2 culture and 2 research every year. Or here's another ancient tomb. I think there's temples that you can find too, as just little things that you'll find on the map. You'll also find, for example, just a little road going through a mountain pass. So it makes it feel like the world was lived in before you got here. So that's kind of a map generation script. The other thing that this script typically does is it carves out more major rivers that will look like this. At least it does on the China one. I'm playing on the Middle Eastern one, but it carves out these major rivers that have fordable areas. I don't see good examples of that here, but I really like the shape of this map that it's created. It does feel like a Mediterranean feel. And it's still playable. Okay, let's keep going. I have been doing this for, what does it say? 3 hours? Yeah, 3 hours, and I'm on turn 21. I'm sorry for people that actually wanted to see me play. Prince Marcus improving his courage. So the tutoring did work. And the influence mission has led to an event. We've converted somebody to Roman paganism, which is good. If we can get everybody to be the same religion, it makes it easier for them to like us. Oh, one of the oligarchs has become a most bitter person. Oh, that's right. I sent out my queen to try to influence the Carthaginian queen because I really need her to like me more, because right now our peace is threatened by the fact that they hate us. Well, not hate. They are upset. During your many mornings spent carving wood together, there might be something to her lifestyle. After all, queen can't shape a bit of wood to her fancy, then how can they carve out an empire? Adopting this new way of life would give certain benefits, such as understanding more of what makes Queen Ashante the Just of Carthage would like, and how you could put her into your debt. I can... Oh, so I could become a carpenter, but that is... I have too many trades, so it won't let me become a carpenter. Instead, it will give me some wisdom, and then it will get her to owe me a favor. If she owes me a favor, they like me more. Because as long as I'm not calling in that favor, they're like happy. Or I can not get her to owe me a favor, not get that bonus to our opinion, and just take 2 to my discipline. I don't need discipline. Discipline is great. It gives you a ton of extra money and stuff, but I don't need money right now. I have so much flipping money. So I'm going to take advantage of that and get the favor. Now, because she's not actually influenced by me right now, I can influence her again. Because that event actually gave me a different outcome than what I tried to get. See, if we look at this guy here, it says influenced by Queen Atia. The influenced by gives plus 40 opinion, and you can't do it more than once. Once I've gotten him to be influenced by me, can't ever do it again. So the fact that we got a nice event out of that means that we can potentially influence her because we haven't done it yet. We got a different result. Awesome. Monsters of the deep. The people of Roma listen in horror to the tales of Decimus's adventures. Oh, I sent him exploring, that's right. He reports that in the depths of the ocean lurk horrors beyond imagining. The tales of immense tentacled beasts that can crush a ship with a dozen sinewy arms and ravenous behemoths that consist of naught but a gaping maw of 1,000 razor-sharp teeth with which they swallow men whole. He's grown wary of these dangers and desires to return home to the safety of Roma. Now, he is an oligarch, which also super smart to give everybody of importance a title. The oligarch is the leader of one of my families, which means his opinion directly translates to the family opinion. If I can make him happy, then the family will be happier. So the fact this is happening to Oligarch Decimus tells me that my choices here will matter more than just him being liking me or not. So if I tell him to come back at once, he becomes humble and starts returning home, and I become timid. If I tell him to stay out there, he earns XP, I earn XP, he gets the Pathfinder trait, and I get some discipline, but it could lead to future events. Because we have the exploration law, we have a third option. I get some discipline and wisdom, and usually the ones that require a certain thing are the best. So I'm going to take that. Get some extra wisdom, extra discipline, and the laws you can see here unlock as you get certain technologies, but you need a ton of civics to put them into practice. And they're all trade-offs, generally speaking. Centralization means that state houses, those are courthouses, ministries, palaces, and grand palaces, will give an extra 5 civics, and your farms can build on marsh, and your capital city gets extra growth per cultural level. And this one, actually, the ones on top have no downsides. That's right. Centralization versus vassalage. You can only have one of these two, though. All of them are paired. So we don't have epics because we have exploration instead. Vassalage lowers unit consumption and increases the chance to change the new laws. Ouch. but no extra unit consumption when outside borders. Normally, when you're outside your own borders, all your units consume more because it costs more to supply them. Another clever, very clever thing. Your military is less expensive to maintain if it's defensive. If you're in an all-out war, A, you're spending your orders on the war and not on increasing your economy, and B, all of your military are costing you 50%, maybe 100%, I think it's 50% additional upkeep, unless you have vassalage. That's a way around this. If this is a war, this is a warrior's option. So I might just do that, but it costs 400 civics. As you go further down this tree, these things get much better, but they have higher upkeep. So this one has a high money upkeep, which is minus 21 per year per city. But it means all new infantry units start at level 3. The production time for them is higher, though, and new militia units start with trained. So you could do that, or you could do mass mobilization. So these laws all do very cool things. And sometimes certain families say, I really don't like tyranny. Landowners don't like tyranny. So if you pick tyranny, it's going to piss them off. That's going to push you in one direction or another. In this case, the champions really like coin debasement, but the patrons frickin' hate it. They do not want me to do that, so I'm probably never gonna. Anyway. We've got a new worker over here, which is good. I'm trying to select the military unit. There we go. Alright, so I killed that guy. Now, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with this. And I think I already know. I think we're going to build some mines, because mines can generate training if you turn them into stuff. We're definitely going to build a camp there. We're going to build more mines. Now, do we want to build a mine here? Yes. Hills are better. Automatically, 60% output, you go from 5 to 8. And then on the arid territories between the mines, we'll build a quarry, which will get 6 plus an additional 20% for each of the mines. So that'll actually be 8. And we'll build another quarry right over here to take advantage of being nestled right between those mines. I don't want to build quarries here. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of this, but I'm going to wait for that later. Ah, I can put a quarry right here. Despite the fact that it's not arid, it's got 3 mines around it, so that'll be good. We want another camp over here. Now, camps normally are very good to have, what? Lumber mills adjacent. Unfortunately, these camps aren't adjacent to lumber mills anywhere. I'm probably going to want to have some growth potential from this area. So maybe we put pasture here and then put some farms around it and let that be our farm area. I got to click the guy so I can see what I'm doing. And then I can surround that with granaries. And actually, yeah. We could put another one over here. And some of these granaries are going to be owned by the other city, but I'm just planning them out. Because there's this lush terrain up here. Lush is all bonuses to farms, plus 40% to build on lush. So this is going to be the breadbasket of my empire. Which worries me a little bit, because if there's an enemy occupying that city, it's very vulnerable. So we might have to build like a watchtower or something over here. I'm just going to finish this little farm community off. And we know we're going to want farms here. We're going to cede a bunch of this territory to that when we settle it. Now, oh god, the city needs to be repaired. Its output for this warrior is reduced by 10% because it's been damaged, so we got to repair that. Stupid frickin' rebels. I didn't finish doing what I was trying to do over here, which is maybe fresh water. I'm going to put a lot of good urban stuff here, but I probably need a garrison fairly quickly. Excuse me. Garrison, garrison, garrison. There. And I'm definitely going to want where is it? A barracks and a range, because this is going to be my military output. And maybe we put a stronghold here, and then our citadel can go here. And so now we have this strong area. The strongholds and the citadels and stuff, the main thing they give you is an extra half an order each, but they also unlock your unique units. Specifically, the garrison unlocks your city governor, the stronghold unlocks your first unique unit, and then the citadel unlocks your level 2 unique unit. So I'm definitely going to want those here. And I'm going to want more of the barracks and more of the ranges. You can only have 2 of these per, or is it? Yeah, max 2 per city. You can apparently have as many ranges as you want. It's only the barracks that are limited. 2 seems like a fine number for ranges, however. Now, do I want to do one of those foreign fighter hubs here? Automatically creating new units every turn. Unlocks foreign fighters, which is what? Oh, it's a penalty thing. I could also build a recruitment camp. Oh, that's right. This turns growth into that. And I don't know how much growth I'm going to have necessarily. Oh, I definitely need horses. I need my pasture here for the horses. It was covered up by the name of the thing, so I almost forgot it. And then I might have a little bit of farmland over here as well, because there's some... oh, no. I think I might want to do cold baths, warm baths. I'm not going to do a lot of this. I'm going to hold off on it. But I definitely then want to put an Odeon in between. And then maybe have an Odeon here. And then a Hamlet here. And the reason for that is Hamlets get bonuses for being adjacent to Odeons and shrines. Odeons get a bonus for being adjacent to shrines and baths. Or no, baths get a bonus for being adjacent to Odeons. So I put baths close to them all the time. And probably that's enough for now. I don't need to plan everything out. But we definitely are going to want to put a camp on this as well once we get there. These guys being in the middle of nowhere means the lumber mill bonus doesn't matter. So we can kind of ignore that for now. Okay. So we'll have options later. Like, actually, the one thing I can think of is there's a bunch of things here that are bonuses for being adjacent resources. So I could get some bonus growth there. Like, what is this? The recruitment camp. It per population. Yeah, I mean, I could put that right here. I don't need that many farms. So we'll put a recruitment camp right here. What that'll do is... Oh, no. I was thinking that a different thing. I need bonus growth per adjacent resource. Not the tavern, probably. I think I want the trading hub. Trading hub goes right here. That's the bottom. That'll give me two extra growth, which is not bad. I'm going to have the granaries at some point, of course. And probably, now that I think about it, this looks like a good spot for a granary. And then all of the farms around it have the granary bonus and the freshwater bonus from that river. Granaries give me extra growth. And so I think I'll want to do that. You could put a quarry right there, too. But then here, we can put the recruitment camp at some point. And yeah, this is going to cost me hurry units with population, but this is very good for a center that's going to be building out stuff with training. I hate that it's killing my growth, but I'll be able to build a bunch of farms. I'll have this trading hub. I'll have a bunch of granaries helping with that. So it's not terrible. And the pasture here will help me with 3 growth. So I think it'll be fine. I hope it'll be fine. So what do we start with? That's the question. I want to start with horses. And now that I have access to horses, I want to mark spoked wheel. So this is just telling myself in the future. It's a reminder that I want to get this. Do we have the ability to build roads right now? Yes, administration gave us roads. So when we do get a free worker, I'm going to do that. I probably also want steel because I'm going to be fighting soon. And I'm going to need composite bow because I'm going to be fighting soon. And I'm going to need phalanx. Say it with me because I'm going to be fighting soon. So I'm focusing on those military things in the near future. So repairing the damage, we're going to build the warrior. And then I need to build a set. It's going to take 22 years. Partly because we're damaged. Very much because we're damaged, actually. The only reason it's going to take that long is because of how damaged the city is. It's going to be repairing itself soon, though. So we can do that twice to make sure that it gets fully repaired. And then we'll be able to build a settler that is going to go over here. We'll see about that later. So this army... Oh my god, I can go way up to here. And not quite make it. I can spend some training to get all the way there, or I can go here. Oh, right there? Yeah. The river does not... extend past this spot, so I can get to there. Perfect. And then I can attack this guy. He's not the best target to attack, but I wanted to be up on the hill, and I wanted to be able to attack him, so that's what I did. And by the way, when my general is leading this unit, if the unit gains XP, the general is also gaining XP. When the general, or when the leader, or whatever, the character, is a governor, and the governor is building units and buildings and stuff, that generates XP as well. So, basically, characters with jobs get to gain more XP. Like this ambassador is going to try to get a truce with the tribe. He's going to get XP from that. And he's going to improve himself, which means that maybe we can get rid of this negative religion opinion thing. Now, where the hell... Oh, okay, this mountain... I was thinking this mountain, like, turned around and didn't go anywhere, but it actually curves right around behind to where the Persians are. And they still only have one weak city. That's very unusual. The AI normally starts ahead of you, more cities, more techs, more units, with the idea being that you are a new civilization in an old world. They are established on the map and you're an upstart. That's how they give the AI a kickstart advantage without, like, narratively breaking your immersion. Oh, and can we talk about how genius this turn system is? I will in just a second. I'm just trying to... Alright, we've reached the edge of the map already. On the edge of the map, there's all these lightnings, so you know that that's the edge of the map because it's thundering out there. You can't go out into the storms. It's too dangerous. Okay. Alright, CS255, you still there? You want me to tell you another brilliant thing about this? Oh boy, that poor unit's getting savaged. As valuable as tutors are... Oh, I forgot to tutor my son again. Oh, he's too grown up. He can't be tutored anymore. Oh, now I gotta marry him. Marry him off, not marry him. That would be a little Oedipus-like. We're not gonna do that. So first... Oh my god, there's so many things. As valuable as tutors are in the Roman society, it's ultimately the duty of the parents to oversee the child's education. In addition to the basics of business and domestic skills, it's important to teach the moral and civil responsibilities that make a good citizen of Rome. Sempriona has quickly mastered everything that you have taught her and asks for more. How will you sate this appetite for learning? She would get access to the historical text if I had enough civics. If I had enough training, I could encourage her to spend some more time training, but instead, the tutors will have to do well enough, so she doesn't gain a bonus because I don't have the resources for it. That's too bad. Instead, she's just going to get some XP, which will level her up eventually. Now, here's what I want to tell you. All the stuff that you can do with your orders is very cleverly kept right here in a particular order and mapped to certain keys that I've been using. So, 1 cycles through the different events. 2 cycles through all your workers that don't currently have jobs. And it's lit up, and it shows you how many of them there are. 3 cycles through your idle military units, not including units that have been told to sleep, only units that are active. So every turn, if I say, hey, I've got more orders, what do? I glance down here and I say, oh, I've got 3 idle scouts I could potentially move. And I've got these military guys. And generally speaking, you want to make your decisions in order from left to right. You want to first figure out what these events do. Then you get your workers going. Then you can move your military units. Then you can move your scouts. Sometimes it's military units instead of civilian units because maybe you're in the middle of a war and it's more important that you get your guys back to heal before they take damage or what have you. Speaking of which, these guys are in a bit of trouble, but they can crush this guy in one blow. Almost crush him in one blow. There's a 40% chance they just crit him and like... No, they didn't do it, but... Here, I'm hoping 1, 2, 3, 4. If you hover over the enemies, it shows you how much damage they do to your unit. They give you a preview. It's brilliant. Ugh. And by the way, if you click and drag these, you can change the order. So if you're like, right now I'm in a war and I want to prioritize my military units, I make that number 2 instead. So that as I'm tabbing through, and the tab key will also go through these, by the way, in the order that you choose. It's just the interface is just so smart. The Q and the E keys cycle through these important side panels here. This one shows me the most important people in the court, mainly my king and my heirs and my courtiers, so that if they've got a little yellow triangle, I know that they don't like me and I need to do something about that because these guys not liking me can be bad. If they got a green triangle, I know that's great. They like me a lot. And then I can also sort by eligible governors and whatever, but I almost always leave it on court members. The next one over tells me all about the different religions and how much those religions like me. And I can click on the religious head and influence them. I can try to convince people to convert religions. And then it shows me the 3 families. So this is like an internal view here. And then, oh, that's interesting. I didn't actually notice that you could hover over this and get the same kind of basic information. Huh. And then the next one over is about foreign access. This is all of the main players in the game. I haven't found one. There should be a 4th up here, but I haven't found them on the board somewhere. And then the tribes are below that. And the next one over shows you all of your different cities and what they're building and what their production is. And then this one, if I wanted to find a specific civilian unit, I can click here and shift right click to only show me this type. Oh, it's so smart. It's so smart, guys. I can't get over how smart everything about this game is because they've been improving it for 5 years. Of course it's smart. They just have people sitting there on Discord and say, hey, when I do this, I'd really love to be able to see this information. And it's like, oh, there it is in the next patch. Okay, let's do this. On the first night, the palace guards hear the sound of someone climbing the walls. When they go to investigate, nothing is found. On the second night, scuff marks can be seen around the base of the walls. On the third night, the culprit is caught. Avoiding your gaze, Sempriona is brought before you. Reluctantly, she admits that she has been sneaking out to visit Rhea, who is another daughter in one of these families. So Rhea is endeared to Duchess Sempriona, which is good if Duchess Sempriona ever becomes the leader. Having somebody endeared to her is great. It means they like her a lot. And they like each other, apparently. So, if I choose to have them stop this foolishness, my discipline goes up, but the daughter becomes estranged from me, which is usually the first step to trying to plot my death. It's not always the case. Sometimes I might really need that discipline. If I didn't have a lot and I was having trouble with money, I might choose to just tell them to stop and make her hate me. But instead, I can lose a little discipline to get a better relationship with my daughter, which in this case kind of does help, because if she likes me a lot, then her traits here will give me more benefit. So I'm going to choose that one because I have plenty of income. And then I'm going to, I can't do anything. I wanted to further, can I tutor her? Yeah, I can have her tutored, which is good. Now, let's see what the next one is. Marcus has finished his time learning tactics from our nation's military masters. During the education, Marcus developed a close relationship with the great soldier Bradagos, who is currently feuding with me. You may wish to reassert your leadership in the eyes of your son. I don't want this guy to not like me. Huh. Prince Marcus must serve far away, and he becomes a soldier? He also becomes bitter, which is a weakness. So right now, I made him a commander, right? I wanted him to be a commander. But if I keep him here, he becomes a scholar instead. I can change his archetype. But I want him to be a commander. But I also don't want to piss this guy off. What the hell? I'm screwed. See you later, CS255. Thanks for joining. Okay, the good news is we're securing peace here. It only cost me a little bit of legitimacy. And so now he likes me enough. That's good. All right. Now what's next? Wow, we don't have the ability to build these things, do we? We're getting drama. By the time we get that, it'll be good. Let's go build one more farm, I guess. And I'm going to need to build another worker over here to connect these up and increase the growth and happiness of that city. But boy, maybe this guy can start it. So here, this guy needs to heal. Because there's going to be another rebel here sometime soon. 26% chance. The 20% comes from this, and the 6% comes from... 1% comes from this, and 6% comes from unhappy family? No, they're not unhappy. Oh, damage. City damage gives you 5% rebel chance. There's no way to see that anywhere, unfortunately. All right. And we've got another one up here. Continuing to explore the areas north of Persia. Unfortunately, our scouts have come close to each other here, so I got to send that scout somewhere else. Well, he can't go further north, actually. Why did I send him that way? Just curious if there's another city hiding up here. All right, 2 years till I get the headhunter. And the Champion's family is still getting a slow start thanks to the rebels. Oh, there's another rebel started in Hamble. We did get drama. Exerted influence upon Carthage, but looked weak in the process. So our legitimacy's taken a big hit recently. A frantic emissary arrives from the Scythians. She accuses Ambassador Nonus of kidnapping their infant heir to secure the peace? Oh, come on, guys. We kill the ambassador? Oh, the champions would hate us for that. I can't. But all the families would hate us for this. Let's just hold on to the hostage. I don't really care about my relationship with the Scythians. As long as we're not at war with them, this guy won't be pissed. A violent earthquake. Oh, interesting. Set hill on tile 8136. That's this one? Yes, this one used to be a mountain, now is a hill. Which is great, because now we can put... Nature can be cruel. Focus on studying the mountain. Order the diviners to pray for more collapses. 8236 and 8036. Which ones are those? This one and this one. So we could turn those into arid things too. Perhaps it is wise to defend against whatever lies beyond. Oh, hey, it shows them now. It didn't used to do that, I don't think. I think I really could use the extra space, so I'm going to do that. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go back to him in a second. Because now I can build some quarries over here. Oh, except that's not... we can get rid of this as not a quarry spot. We don't need that quarry there now. We can build it here instead, which gives us another opportunity to build something over here. I don't remember what I wanted to build here, but it was something important. Oh, a recruitment camp, because this place is going to have so much growth, it doesn't need to worry about that, but it will turn that into extra training. And I don't know what we put here, something else. Maybe a mine. No, because we don't want to be adjacent to a farm. I guess I could put a farm up there. We'll figure it out later. Right now, I've got an event triggered. This oligarch is still out there. His party returned to shore and stopped in a small fishing village in an unknown nation. He has befriended some of the locals there and asks to return to Roma with a fisher in tow. Oh, that's nice. Or he can continue his travels. Come home and bring that fisher with you. So, we just finished the nets in olfactory. So a fisher here would give us 2 extra growth, a little bit extra culture, and extra science, some extra money. I think that sounds like a good trade. What's here? Or keep exploring and he becomes potentially miserable. Or come home without any locals in tow. I get a little more legitimacy. I'm going to take the free fisher. And we're going to give him a little bit more charisma, maybe? I don't think that really matters because he's not necessarily doing anything right now for me. So this is 2 growth. Why was this nets? Oh, because of the adjacent... Oh, no, it's just 2 growth, period. Okay, I thought it was 4 for some reason. The fisher makes it 4. So we're going to get 2 more growth and 10 more food here. Wait a minute, didn't the resource... Okay, hang on. I'm trying to understand. That event... Gain fisher in Roma. Oh, okay, well that's not terrible, but still. I wanted the fisher down here. It would have been more valuable. I'll take it in Rome, too. That's fine. This isn't building any growth, unfortunately, but it is giving me an extra science, a little bit extra money, a little bit extra food. Can't say no to that. So now we got to figure out trapping. Gives us camp. Spoked wheel. Gives us caraballista and chariots. Let's get the camp going so that we can actually get the elephants here. And this is a problem now, because there are so many of them. I can kill this one, but then oh, this one can take 4 of my HP away. I'm going to have to run back to safety. Heal. And because we made him the medic, the herbalist, and we upgraded that leader... Me? No? Maybe not. But anyway, just the herbalist trait makes him heal really fast. And next turn he can return with a hunter in tow. And now we're building a warrior over here, finally, to help. Unfortunately, maybe we can get him to attack us instead of the city. That's why I moved out of it. We're also going to want that settler, which is only going to take 11 turns to get up here. It still seems like forever to get our 4th city. And then we're going to need to take this one as well, which is going to make a 5th city. And therefore, we wanted this to be landowner, so technically this should be our other settler. So that one, once it produces a settler, will come over here. This one produces a settler, will come over here. Because if you settle a city with a settler of the family you intend to found there, you get to start with an extra citizen, which is nice. And it helps me keep everything straight in my head. So, let's just go explore. We can go right into Persia's territory? Is that because we're invisible? Huh. I thought you couldn't walk into an enemy territory. I guess you can when you're invisible. Because Persia definitely don't like us. They didn't give us any way to walk through. So we can't see much about it because we don't have a spy master to investigate. But they have wheat. What is this? The Lorien mine. So that must... Oh, that kind of Lorien mine must be from an event. Because they started with a hunter family. They've also got... Wait, 2 Lorien mines? Oh, man. That's producing for them quite a lot of extra stuff. They've got a regular mine here. They built a fort there for some reason. A hamlet out here. They got elephants with camps. They've got camels with camps and camels with camps. I mean, it's not a terrible city. They just need to actually produce enough stuff to take and get a second city out there. And they've got a couple caraballista. No, that's archer. This is a caraballista, regular ballista. So they're at war with the Thracians. They're trying to turn this into their city, which is good because that means I can maybe sneak this one while they're busy trying to get their second city site. So fighting them should be a good goal. Doesn't look like there's another city up here. No, but I did uncover a landmark and a little goodie hut. All right, I think we're going to call it a night here in a few minutes. But this has been fun. And we're probably going to continue this tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. or so. I'll put a schedule on the YouTube. Completed study of philosophy. She could be a judge or a builder. Builder's kind of nice. It makes the improvements go faster. Yeah, we're going to start there because I have a bunch of cities with no improvements at all. She could become bold. Throwing them out. Convince them of their mistake makes her eloquent. Ooh, I do want to have her be a governor somewhere. And I do need more civics. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So let's do that. After years of exploration, Oligarch Decimus the Schemer has returned to Roma as a hero. Congratulations. All right, we're going to save it there, ladies and gentlemen. A free settler. Ooh, that's very useful. We'll get that and then turn this one off. We don't need that settler anymore. So we will pick this up tomorrow morning. Have a good one.